Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole thing there is, I mean, Daniel to V1. Maybe it's actually happening. Maybe it's actually happening. People have been talking about it for a while. The fans have wanted it for a while, and
And it's also the rumors that it's in place of Torment, right?
Yeah.
yes, yeah,
Not Calm, who is rumored to be replaced by Rise, who's on the show
Hi
tonight. So,
guys.
what
Hello.
first of all, what's going on there then? If they, were gonna get rid of Calm, and they it didn't end up happening because Rise decided not to go, and that pick the domino back up, bring that domino back, Calm stand up again, and now they're like, okay, Torment gone. What do you guys think is going on there?
Oh, um, well, once again, hello. Um, this
Hello,
is
Rise.
a sticky situation, so I'm just assessing what to say right now. TBates, you can go first.
Oh, oh sure, I'll glad to take it while you go in.
Specifically on the Torment this time being rumored to leave, not Calm. Because you'd think, right, if they tried to get rid of
Yeah.
Calm once, that they would try again. But
Yeah.
they've apparently,
It's
in a very short window, decided not to do that.
it's pretty much just playstyle stuff. I'll cut you
Think
off,
so?
TBates, on that one.
Go ahead.
I do think so. I think that with the intention of getting me was in place of Com because we play like the more similar play style, and I think Daniel and Torment play too like similarly to be able to work together. So that was the decision they've made.
TBates, you think he's onto something?
He's I mean, I feel like he'd be red hot.
Some would say nail on the head.
He'd be red hot, considering he was almost over there in America not too long ago. 2 months ago.
TBates, you actually tweeted out at Rise you belong in NA or something like that, didn't you? When that whole thing was going on.
Yeah, he belongs in NA. He will forever belong in NA. Him and Archie. I actually might as well move the whole entire squad over to NA. That's what they need to do.
What's the reasoning there? Why do you think they belong in NA?
Because they're content machines, and you want to make a brand, you come over to North America. Simple and plain. And these two right here, I should even become the biggest thing in Rocket League if they move to NA. The content that these two will be pumping out will be insane. So that's why he's forever NA player.
That's just content. That's the reason. Content.
Oh yeah, I mean they're gonna be great on the pitch, but they'll be great on the pitch in EU as well. So I mean, I don't know if they can win any championships. That's a discussion for a later date. But I'll say that in terms of just being really great, they really great in the content area. Yeah, they belong in NA. That's why he's always on here. Cause you want to hear him talk.
I don't think Rise even if Rise didn't try to move to V1 though, like I don't think that impacts this move. Like I don't think the fact that they nearly broke up is a reason why this could potentially be happening again. You know what I mean? I think this could have happened regardless, or this would have been tried to happen regardless. You know,
the Daniel thing could have happened.
Yeah, Dan. I think like this is not a byproduct of V1 nearly making a roster change last time. This is a new thing.
Because they've had a bad split last split, so some people are thinking, okay, now they're desperate for a change. Whereas there were a lot of people talked about Rise being acquired by V1 as potentially like a opportunistic thing. They're like, oh wait, Rise on the table. Let's see if we can put an offer in because he's world class, especially on LAN. Whereas this seems a lot more like, okay, we had a bad split. We need to do something. They didn't have a bad split actually in the first split this season. They came top 8 at LAN, qualified for LAN, came top 8. This split they didn't do that well though. So you don't think it's at all based on that? You think this is it another like opportunistic thing? They're like, okay, Daniel's available.
Well, like you see Dan and B mode, they're always like they're doing the 2v2s. Like there's always the talk of like Dan beast mode first killer. Like this is it's not just something that the fans like. I think in a perfect world they could be on a team, but obviously they're all on different orgs, and there's always that sort of stuff. So I think that it's almost inevitable that like these guys would want to play with each other, like they're best mates, and they're always playing twos and stuff like that. So I think it's more just contractual stuff, and the fact that clearly V1 have found a way to maybe negotiate or start negotiating with Space Station. So obviously he's going to take it. I don't even think it impacts. I don't think it matters how well any team's going. Like V1 or Space Station.
Yeah.
Or even if FaZe, like if this 3-headed thing that everyone's trying to will into I don't think it would matter if FaZe got like second at or first at a LAN. I think First Killer would still love to be with, play with Dan or play with B mode. So I don't think it matters
Not
like
results
in
based.
terms. No, I
But
don't think it's
it
results
does
based. I
probably
think they
get
just want to play together.
it probably gets the ball rolling a bit quicker though, because like now that they've both not qualified for LAN, they're just straight away on that objective A, objective 1, sort out your roster for next split, because they don't have to play at the LAN, practice for the LAN, right?
Yeah.
Can I just say as well, it's the same subject, but it's like slightly different. I'm gonna go into like SSG a little bit. Like you see a lot of people be like, "Damn, Daniel's wasted on this team. These guys like they're not good enough for Daniel." Like I don't know. I feel like with these young prodigies that come up, they're never at fault. Like it can never be Daniel's fault.
No one
because
ever
it's
blames
Daniel.
them, right?
Vitality will never be Zen's fault. Nothing will ever be Zen's fault now that he's coming up. Like this
Mhm.
guy will it'll always be like whoever gets replaced on V1 on Vitality for Zen. It'll be like, damn, what is this guy doing? Like what is Radisson doing? What is Sazen doing? And like I think whilst I haven't watched SSG, so I don't know, but I think a lot of people are being like, this split's not Daniel's fault, and I'm not saying that it's mainly his fault, but like people are forgetting LJ almost dragged Oxygen to Worlds last season, and that team's now Accelerate, and they're struggling. So I don't know. I would just with these young players, it's probably hard for them as well. So I see a lot of people just say that.
He's a prodigy, and he's also Daniel's got some of the most like passionate fans
Yeah,
as
exactly.
well
That's
as an
what I mean.
individual.
Yeah.
He's got a like mad fan base, which is it's really cool to see for a player who doesn't really make too much content. To see that that's possible. First of all, but yeah, he does definitely get. His mistakes do get overlooked. I've heard so many people say that he what was the series? People say that he nearly 1v3'd Carmine Corp in the fall major, when he was making great solo plays, but he also like made so many like mistakes that just got the team in massive trouble. Most obviously in game 1, where he like literally could have just left the ball for Arsenal, he passed it instead to the other team and they scored a 0-second goal. So
he basically his own goal
yeah, he essentially just own goaled in 0 seconds. But yeah, I think you're onto something there. He does get he gets the benefit of the doubt in almost any situation from most fans and most commenters.
And Chrome said it himself, like he sabotaged that series. Like it's not copium, I guess. Like he
what was the details on that? Like what was the
Chrome said he
story?
just went rogue in that series where he just stopped calming and just started basically playing. It's what we saw. He was trying to just 1v3. He just went rogue,
that never works.
Which annoyed Chrome, because even though it looks sick, like, oh, look at Dan, he's doing everything. He's getting nearly 1,000 points or whatever. He's not playing the the style that they need to win as a team. Like they were never going to win with Dan playing like that. So yeah, that was even revealed by the coach. So it's not like we're just trying to make it up. Like, oh, well, Dan actually, he was doing that because of some other reason. Like, no, it was just like he had a mind of his own. Like I guess against Vatira, wanted to sort of 1v3 or ego a little bit. So there was certainly those sort of things. And as Rice said, like you don't blame the kid or the person that's performing the best, but they can be the problem, or they can be. You don't see the internal issues that can cause, or if Dan's not playing well, it's easy for people to say, oh well, it's because Arsenal or LJ aren't doing X, Y, Z. It's not. It might, there's always the copium for the best player.
This is so interesting, and basketball's about to come up, but it still applies. It still applies.
I see Johnny smiling, but I'm ready. I'm ready for debates.
It still applies because Damian Lillard was just on JJ Redick's podcast, The Old Man and the Three, for those who watch basketball. And Dame was talking about how the NBA has changed since he came to the league. Dame's one of the best players in basketball. And he got into the league in 2012. He's comparing to 2023. And he was talking about the young guys coming up. And he was saying that when people get drafted now, when they're like the top 5, top 10 picks in the draft, they immediately get the keys to the kingdom. And no, it's not even that. It's they get the keys to the kingdom, and then nobody's there to tell them anything. So so whatever they say goes. They get paid a ridiculous amount of money. The whole entire team rolls with them. If they don't want a player, that player gets booted off. There's no veteran presence or anything like that. And like the franchise just goes all in on that player, even though they haven't done anything in the league so far. And he was comparing that to like 2012, where when Dame got drafted, there was veteran presence, and you still had to earn it. Like you could still be criticized, but now in the NBA, when you get drafted as a young player, you don't get criticized much. It's always somebody else's fault. So it's interesting that you bring up, Rise, how when Daniel comes on, and I think it's really any of these young players when they come on, it's very rarely ever their fault. And anything that happens is always somebody else's fault, even though there's a veteran that could be still be playing well, but like the young gun, just because they're flashing and they're passing the eye test, the eye pop mechanics, they're doing no wrong, and there's like nobody to hold them accountable in that. I think that's where like organization got to hold it, come in and like really try to develop a player into being that great.
Did that happen with Daniel when he first? Because he's been in the league he's been RLCS for a year now, just over a year, because he started Winter Split last season. Did he get that immediate, just kind of free pass on any mistakes that he makes when he first joined?
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did.
I think he kind of earned it a little bit more than that. I don't think he got as much of a free pass as he gets now. It wasn't
I don't
like
know.
he just ran the show.
I think
he kind of like delivered.
But I think they got what? Did they get top 4 or top 2 in their first?
Oh,
regional?
they missed LAN was typical.
They got
Daniel
top 2.
made LAN.
They got top 2.
Then, yeah, they got second.
Because I remember Daniel scored. They played NRG. They made top 2 because they played NRG in the final, and Daniel scored a 0-second goal.
The whole entire weekend.
That was like game 1, wasn't it?
Not saying that's all he did. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like he showed like a good they got top 2 after a bad split.
Didn't he get 2 0-second goals?
No, he got multiple 0-second goals. He got a 0-second goal in the first series he played. Like I think his first ever game, he got a 0-second goal. So like on that Friday, he got a 0-second. He got like multiple 0-seconds. Then
the reason I brought that up is because you've got a good point. I don't really know much about basketball, but that's an interesting analogy. But I think Daniel definitely earned the
he earned
current fan base.
Yeah.
When he first joined, he was nowhere near as hyped as he is now. He was definitely like a really everybody's so excited to see him.
But what he's saying,
now,
Johnny, is like in the team. Like I think even when Zen comes in, everyone's not going to be like, if Zen plays bad, people aren't be like, oh, it's because his teammates are bad. People will be like, what's this kid doing? But in terms of internally, Vitality will be like, Zen, what's wrong? Like, what do you need? Who do you need to kick? Like they're gonna nurse him. But I still think externally, and it's the same in the NBA. Like if a top pick comes in, they're still going to be heavily scrutinized and criticized based on how they're playing, and people are going to want to see what they saw. Like when Zen plays, we're going to want to see what we've seen in the 1v1s, what we've seen in ranked, in tournaments. And if we don't see it, we're going to be like, is this kid up to RLCS? Mm-hmm. Like we're still going to say that, but internally, with Vitality, he's still the golden child.
He's the golden boy.
It's the same. I think it's the same.
It's a dangerous game.
Like he still would have been the man. Like it's on that team internally.
You've got to remember, like he is 16. He just turned 16 a month ago.
Yeah.
He plays he's got this ones run. Every series this is talking about Zen. Every series he plays, he gets like 10K plus viewers. The whole chat is just like, this kid's so good. And yeah, he is. But like you saw, as soon as he lost, he made like I would say quite a worrying tweet, to be honest.
Very bad tweet. Yeah,
I don't count that as a loss. And yeah, he came out and apologized, but that's just the hype getting to him. And at least to me, like as soon as you believe your own hype, it's like it's worrying. Because
I think it's a little bit of that, believing his own hype, but it's also like crazy amounts of pressure. Like, and
exactly.
so many fans hoping that he's going to win again, and that was like the big one. The series you're talking about was pretty much like just cement himself as number 1 in the world, and he lost it. So it's a lot of pressure. You're by yourself, no teammates, no coach, no manager, just solo. With like so many fans you're trying to deliver for. But yeah, that's a very unique situation. I don't think that's going to happen again for a while. I don't think many if any Rock League players really ever had that type of pressure on them as an individual before. So yeah, he obviously reacted badly, but then he realized, okay, now I messed this up. That was not the right thing to say. Apologized. So I definitely don't hold that against him. I think he came out of it. Probably learned a very good lesson. It's probably good that happened to him before he played RLCS.
If
If he
in
was still
RLCS, he
undefeated,
would've got
oh
cooked.
man. If he was still undefeated when he made it into
Mm.
RLCS, that would have been so bad because then he would have he would have had his first loss in RLCS. It would have been probably that situation. But now he's in the league with way more scrutiny. So yeah, I think he probably learned more there.
Regardless of whether these kids come in and everyone hypes them up, like in terms of like this situation that we've got right now, it's just one of the best players in the world wanting to play with another one of the best players in the world, and I guess we've got to see if the orgs can make it happen. I still
can make
feel
it
like
happen,
it'd
right.
be. Do we think it's 100% gonna happen? Like they're gonna be
I
able to
don't
find
I
a
have no idea.
buyout.
I would say Daniel probably 100% wants to join V1, and V1
Oh,
probably
yeah.
100% want him after this split. It's just about like the contract shit.
And listen, and V1's got the money. So if the SSG's charging $1 million, you pay the $1 million and you move on.
You don't pay
Oh,
$1 million.
oh,
Yeah,
Come
you
on.
pay-
Yeah, I don't know
you
about
pay-
that.
$1 million, bro.
Paying
Listen,
those
Especially
million
since it's not like Dan's on a permanent contract or something. Like it might be his contract might be up in the end of the season or the end of the year or
Well,
something.
listen.
So you're basically paying $1 million for like
You know what
4
you do?
months.
You drop 500,000 on them. Drop 500,000 on them. You re-up the contract. Sign Dan to the max for 4 years. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, a
That's what
minute
you gotta
ago
do.
you're like, oh man, yeah, this is really worrying. Listen to what this NBA player had to say about this type of thing happening. Now you're like, yeah,
Well,
get him
give
up
him the
for
keys.
4
Give him the
years.
keys.
Which
Well,
4
no,
years
no.
in esports is like 20 years in basketball.
Bro's,
Well,
bro's giving him the keys to Minnesota right now.
Well, when
bro.
I- when I
Sign
was-
to V1.
when I was saying that, I just mean like you need that veteran leadership, and I think that the players
Do
in
you
turn,
in
I
Rocket
think
League though? Do you? I
I
don't
think
know
you
if
need
it's the
like
same.
yeah,
I don't know if it's the same, but
well,
I see what you mean. Though.
you don't need like a 35-year-old who's been in the league for 18 years,
You
like
don't
in
need
basketball or
Chrome.
something. But like you need what? I feel like Daniel needed a Chrome. Me
Goodness sake.
personally, I feel
Oh, man.
like players, especially young ones, they need somebody, maybe in a coach position or maybe even on your team who's been in the league for like 2 years or so, who's like experienced and going through things that can help them like shape and know how to be a pro in the game, so
Oh,
that they can
definitely,
try to
yeah.
be as long as
Yeah.
possible. But I
you're-
mean, like if Daniel joined B1, I mean, he would have been on the Chrome and I would have been on the Fireburner. So I mean, that's two great minds
I
right
think in
behind him.
Rocket League you don't need per se like a veteran player. I could absolutely see 3 brand new players. If they got picked up by the right team right as they turn 15, you just get the 3 best recently turned 15-year-old players, and if they've got the right org, right management to guide them, as you're saying, they would do. I think they would do fine. I don't think you need like on the
happened before.
pitch.
Oh
like,
well, yeah.
veteran.
Management
Like
counts
basketball,
too.
I guess you do.
No, I meant management too. I meant management too. Like management being smart and wise. Yeah, I was also including management. My bad. I was like zoned in on veteran, but I was doing like management and stuff.
Oh,
Like, it's like
I'm probing this guy. I don't really
people.
know basketball well enough to understand that situation.
Well,
so
like
I'm
Zen
guessing
needs
a lot of other
Pharaoh
people don't
Alpha,
either.
doesn't he? He's not going to he couldn't come in with some other kids.
No,
Like that team.
Zen needs that team. Zen
He
needs
needs
vitality.
Farah. He needs
He needs
he needs to
Farah,
stay
and
away
needs
from
Alpha.
Alpha.
Oh, wait,
Alpha's
why
gonna
do
get
you-
him in like co-op
Whoa.
FIFA. Like stay away from him.
Why do you say
He needs Farah.
why do you say he needs them? Like, what's the reason behind that compared to like Liquid or Queso? Like, why
I mean,
Zen?
we didn't need anyone.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, why are you saying Zen?
Well,
needs
Rise
them?
is already old. Rise is already older. Rise is already like 20.
Yeah, I
like
know. Yeah, I know.
Rise is an
He's-
old
No,
man.
he's 18.
Relax.
He's 18, bro.
I know
Relax.
he's an old ass man, but like, why does Zen
Bro,
need?
you're demented, bro. You're literally
I'm
borderline
demented.
dead.
because you're so young and you got so many expectations on your shoulders, and you know how talented you are. And when a young person knows how talented they are, they have
It's
a massive.
dangerous.
It's dangerous. Yeah,
It's
it's
dangerous.
dangerous.
Okay, I
So
see
you
what
need
You
you're
saw his
people,
tweets.
need
Like,
people who are there who can rein them in to maximize that talent, to make sure that talent just doesn't go on the wayside and they just become self-destructing. So that's why you need a Pharaoh. You need an Alpha for a Zen. That will help teach them the ropes so that they can be the best professional, the best pro player that they can be moving forward.
He needs
mean-
perspective and stuff like that, which is, you see his tweets after he loses 1-1v1. He can't treat every series, every game like, if I lose this, I'm going to quit, the game. Like he needs
Why not?
he
Everybody
needs
else
to set
does.
goals and stuff like that.
And that's why everybody else don't win.
The worst thing you can have when you're that at least in my opinion, the way like I've experienced it, the worst thing you can have is a friend group of yes men. When you're that age, like, and you're that talented, what you need is a bunch of people who call you shit. Like that is 10
Well, that
times. No, like a bunch of like your friend group being like, I'm 10 times better than you. Like, you know what I mean? Like the
You just
people
need a
hang.
friend group that's real with you.
Do you mean a competitive friend group, not like a friend
No,
group
like
who's gonna like
I would
diminish
rather
your accomplishments and tell you you're bad,
no,
no matter what
literally
you do?
a no man instead of a yes man. Like people who are gonna be like, watch Zen against, I don't know, what was
No,
one of the
I
1v1s
think
he won? Like
yeah, you're on to
Vatira, and be
something.
like, bro,
He's
he
on the
should have
right
beat you.
page,
Like
but
on
he's
another
saying it
day beats
wrong.
you. You know?
No,
Yeah.
I agree with most of this. I think that the description you gave was very extreme though. Like you know, needing friends that just like, you know, you would do something really cool, you win something, you score a good goal, and they're just like, yeah, well, I'm not that impressed. Like
Yeah,
that can grind in you if there's just like people who are just so hard to impress. Like
Faking you.
everybody's got that friend who you tell them, you know, that something cool that you did that day, and they're like, ah, it's not that impressive. I've actually done that myself many times. And you're just like, cool, great. Well, next time I just won't tell you anything, I guess. You know, like. I don't think that's what you were trying to say, Rise, but yeah, the whole like, yeah, having yes men around you who are just like, yep, whatever you want to do goes, like, we're just gonna, you know, whatever you say is
Everything
fine,
you say is
and
right.
never
Yeah.
challenge anything that they say, never point out when you think that they've actually crossed the line or done something wrong. Totally agree. Yeah, they don't need yes men around
Keep
them.
you grounded
yeah.
instead of believe your own hype. Yeah,
Mhm.
goes back to what I said before.
Facts.
Yeah. Agreed.
Speaking of people that keep
So you're gonna
other
say
people
yes, man.
grounded. Not speaking of yes
you're
man.
gonna
Speaking
name
of
some
definitely not a
names.
yes man, I'd say is obviously Chrome and the I guess tying into this. We sort of touched on it, or Rise touched on it, but not a regular news outlet. Lawler with a new YouTube video saying Space Station Gaming Rocket League is looking for a new coach. So not only Dan trying to leave or trialing with V1 contract talks, but also potentially allegedly Coach Chrome is out of there. He's gone. See you later. SSG either looking for new coaches or who knows what's going to happen to the Rocket League team if Dan goes, if they, you know, who picks up and stuff like that. But Chrome in chat right now is allegedly no longer coaching Space Station Gaming.
Tell me
Massive.
something, Chrome. Tell us.
What's happening here is as Chrome said, enough is enough. I'm looking for a better team. Or is
taking
this
his
Space
talents to
Station?
South Beach like LeBron?
Chrome's next chapter.
He's off.
This is kind of like when, you know, Chrome's, you know, the three players on the team are like the engine.
He said,
You know,
I
or
plead
they
the fifth.
they build the car, but you know, Chrome's driving this Space Station Gaming Rocket League team car, and now the engine's gone. Like, what's the point of still driving the car? I think
Daniel's
that's where.
the engine. What's LJ
Yeah,
then? If Daniel's
now-
the engine,
LJ's
what's
like
LJ?
the
Is he like
interior
the transmission
decor
or something? Like
You know, he's the leather
gearbox?
seats.
Oh my god, he's the leather seats. That is a violation. To
What's
his name.
Arsenal? What's Arsenal then? What part of the car is Arsenal? Hold on. The Chrome is a driver. He's driving the car. Daniel's the engine. LJ's the leather seats apparently. Arsenal's
What
the
is
bumper.
Arsenal?
True.
According
true,
to
the
Twitch,
bumper.
according to Twitch chat, he's like the air conditioner like thing that you hang from the wing mirror. That's what they think he is, bro.
The fragrance, the scent.
Yeah.
He's the tree that you hang.
Oh, the little air freshener. So wait, who's their substitute? He's probably the airbag, I guess, for when somebody's disconnected. Yeah, that's a
good
cool analogy.
good.
We need more
think their
team
sub
like
was
car
Chrome.
breakdowns. But yeah,
What's
I see,
the
back
engine's
to your
gone.
point though. The engine's gone. Is this Chrome saying, "All right, I'm just getting out of the car. I'm out
Yeah.
here. I'm walking."
Yeah, do you
I
think
think
it's
it's-
because it was the, you know,
Walking.
he heard the Daniel thing and was like, okay, maybe I should just part ways as well, or, you know, maybe it was before that.
Knowing Rob G, he probably was mad that SSG is even thinking about getting rid of Daniel. Probably went upper, said we can't get rid of Daniel, we gotta keep him. Upper said, nah, we might get rid of him. And Chrome said, I went out. Cause why coach a team that you can't win on, especially when you that type of caliber of a coach? That makes no sense. It's a waste of time. And you know you can get other offers in other areas and on other teams that can.
So you think that
compete for
Space
championship.
Station? There are a couple things that there. Number one, you think Space Station should just, at all costs, even if Daniel wants to leave, lock him in, lock him up. He's not going anywhere. He's too good. We can't let that power be available for another team.
Yeah, I don't know why more
Yeah.
teams. Well, I mean, I guess I do know because esports don't work. They're not like sports, so you don't just have a whole bunch of money to throw at people all the time. So I guess when V1, who has more money than SSG, comes knocking saying we'll buy out Daniel for 400,000 or something like that, I guess you can't turn that down. But in a hypothetical world scenario, a team like SSG should never let go of Daniel. It should never be the case.
They can't get better. They won't make the next
That's what I'm
major
saying.
without him.
Like
There's
you,
no replacement.
You can't replace him, so you should never get rid of him. I said the same thing about Endpoint last year. But BDS came with a great offer, I guess. So Endpoint can't turn that down.
So are V1 just like a next level up in terms of like finance compared to Space
most
Station?
definitely, yeah.
Because I think that's what happened with BDS and Endpoint. Endpoint are kind of a smaller org, so if they can make some money on a transfer like that, that's a great thing for them because they're trying to be sensible with their money. But if V1 just have an endless pot of money, the money is no object, then they're not obviously playing the same game.
Yep.
Other teams are trying to run a business. They're just like trying to spend money. So if that's the case, then yeah, I guess
the Chelsea of Rocket League.
What can you do?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's think about like all the other times that like orgs have just held people though. Like, wouldn't this be the same situation of like with Daniel and SSG, and people are just like, free Dan, let my boy Dan go. Or it's like Evo on Xset. I think John said United with Hoxer, and then I'm sure there's plenty more that I can't even think of.
Mark Wright with BDS.
Yeah, Mark Wright with BDS. Yeah, like. Even that one as well. So, like, imagine they just don't let go of him. People would be like, this time they're just like, oh, yeah, it makes sense, though. He's like the star player. So, I mean, it happened with Fairy Peak, too. Fairy Peak on Vitality, right?
Yeah, where's the line there of, like, morality in terms you're running a business, but you're also, like, not trying to, be a prison. Like, if one of your players really wants to leave, like, what kind of business are we running here? Sometimes I think they've got to look at what's happening and think, okay, if he really doesn't want to play, I guess there might be a better player than a player who doesn't want to play, even if it is Daniel.
Yeah, but I mean, you pay him the money and then you say we're committed to you. Damn, we're gonna try to make a better team around you. United didn't have. I don't think they had the funds to where they could really go and put a team around Hoxer. So like of that caliber. So that made sense eventually for people to say free Hawk because I mean, Hawk couldn't get the two of the best players in the game on his team, like Ajax, Raul, and how many iterations United had. They're all good players, but like there's still like levels to this of being like the best of the best. For Daniel, like I said, like if SSG, like if SSG had fans or people were just fans, just talking. I mean, they can talk free Dan all you want. But Daniel's getting paid. Say Daniel, they don't know. They might not know Daniel's getting paid the second most in the league or something like that. If SSG had the money to pay him, or maybe he's the first most paid, and they're trying to work to get LJ, and they're trying to improve Arsenal. LJ don't work out. They're trying to get beast mode maybe themselves or something along those type of lines. Trying to pick up the next best thing. I don't know. I think more players should just stick to the orgs as long as the orgs can pay them. But I mean, that's not the world we live in.
If Daniel's being released from SSG, they are gonna be acquiring a fat bag. Like I don't think SSG would just be like, oh here, take Daniel. Like they're gonna want to keep him.
Definitely.
It's the same with like First Killer on FaZe, same with Beast Mode on V1. Like I'm sure Zen will be like that on Vitality, Monkey Moon on BDS, like Vatira on KC, like all these players. These are like the player on these teams, right? So selling that player is like selling the identity. So they're gonna be getting a bag.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys, I kind of disagree. I feel like in esports, the rebuilding a team around a player, the careers are so short. I don't know if that works in esports. I don't know if it works in Rocket League. Only time will tell if you can actually just hold on to an all-star talent like that and spend years building a team around them that's going to win a world championship. I don't know if that there's been no case study of that, is there? Of that happening? Like a team holding on to a player who wants to leave and then eventually building a team around them that actually wins. That's never happened, right?
Where it gets public, no. I mean, we don't know if somebody wanted to leave internally that it didn't go public.
I'm not going to comment on this situation. A couple of these comments, I'm staying quiet.
You're talking about it now though. Like you're not staying quiet.
Yeah, but I'm not exposing the name.
I don't know. That was kind of a.
Are you potentially talking about your own team?
Has Garrett has NRG or G2 not ever had somebody who wanted to leave and they stayed? Oh yeah, like Jane. Well, I mean, I guess they were already successful with Jane at Chicago with Rizzo. When they did bad. I know there was a point. Garrett's talked about it. Garrett's talked about it. Does chat know? Garrett's talked about he wanted to leave for G2 at some point. Somebody.
I mean, I was there.
Yeah, Rizzo, you were there.
No, it was he didn't want to leave. It wasn't like a situation of energy holding him hostage. He just didn't want to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nope, that'll clear it.
There's
that
also,
cleared it up.
you know,
J-Naps
teams
didn't want to go, or what? Who didn't want to go?
No, Garrett didn't want to come to G2.
So he just wanted to team with J-Naps, but he didn't want to leave NRG.
Yeah, he didn't want to team with me. Basically, that's that's what I'm hearing. Now that you reword that,
I
that's
knew
what I'm
this
hearing.
Garrett
I
drama
didn't even say
goes
that.
deep.
I didn't even say anything like.
Well, that's what I
I
heard. It
didn't
doesn't
even-
matter what you said because that's what I heard.
Well, clearly that's been on your mind because I said nothing of the sort.
Yeah,
Just, like pull that out there.
Throw it out there.
He said he wanted to team with JNabs, but he stayed with NRG. It's like, oh yeah, who's the
No, I
only,
said
who's
he
the
wanted
only
to
other
team with
person?
JNAPS, but he wanted to stay with NRG. That could be for lots of reasons. Maybe he likes the org. Maybe he's got a great contract. Maybe he's maybe he wants JNAPS to come to NRG with him.
I'm just saying, when you say that,
I don't think
that in front of my chat, I have to say it first, or else they're gonna figure it out.
That's a good point, actually. Good point.
So I just have to say it.
As long as it's not a shower thought, you can't be having that like negative thought every day, Rizzo. When you go wash your hair, you can't be like, oh, I can't believe Garrett snaked me like that all those years ago.
He does.
Every day.
No, I
You
don't.
gotta put that somewhere. Lock it away. That's not a positive
I think
thought.
there's as you said, like holding hostage. It's hard because that's a very extreme circumstance. There's been players that have tried with different teams but stayed on their current team and still been successful. But that's a bit different than please let me go. Like I don't want to be here anymore. And then they're like, no. But I think it's I don't think that's really ever happened.
There's a lot of players I don't know to what extent, but there's a lot of players who want to leave and the orgs are like, nah.
Yeah, it's just
Johnny.
the thing is you hear about it sometimes, but that's only because the player might keep pestering. So a lot of times, somebody might just say something quickly, hey, I want to leave the team, and they'll be like, no, we're actually sticking this split, and they're like, oh, okay, we're sticking this split, and so the conversation just kind of dies. But
there's wanting to leave a
hear
team,
about that
and there's I want to leave. There's different levels of wanting to leave a team, and I'm thinking this must be one of the more extreme. I want to leave the team kind of situations, where maybe it's better not to hold on to that player. I don't know. Not sure. Not in those conversations. Why is everyone in chat saying my ears? What happened?
Rizzo just leaned in and his mic just peaked for a second. And now it's fine.
Okay. I did.
Just don't lean in again.
Okay, my bad.
Didn't happen. That's interesting. It didn't happen for me.
I heard it. It was
okay.
For a split second. I went for it. It's just quality. Is it take 3 Rizzo behind you on the wall?
Yeah, it is. That
Is
is
that
take
yourself?
3. Yeah, that is me on.
What's
my
the game
wall.
in the middle?
What's the game? you want to see it?
Yeah, can we get a room tour? What's going on over there? What's happening?
No room to show you.
Just a picture tour.
Yeah, I don't even know what the picture.
And so for our listeners, Rizzo's he's at his parents' house right now. He's visiting. So there's a different location for him this episode, and he's got some pictures on the wall behind him.
One's a Rocket League game screenshotted.
Yeah. He's bringing one of them over right now. We're about to find out what it is.
It's actually actually a really good picture. I don't know how much you're able to see this, but it says Rizzo scored.
Rizzo scored.
Which
Goal.
is an anomaly in
screenshot.
itself. Yep. And
Precision Z.
Yeah, you can see Precision Z. So you see the young K-Dop getting scored on right there.
Oh wow, is that season 2?
Did you win the series?
Is that for top 4?
Yep.
Yeah, they did win that.
Yep, we did win that series.
They won that. Only NA team in top 4. They eliminated K-Dop. The only EU team not in top 4.
Crop the image, or was that not a thing?
No, I'm actually surprised this one isn't in black and white too. So I'm surprised they had color at this time.
Well, I wanted to go back to one other thing about the whole SSG. TBates, your take on the SSG thing. So yeah, we kind of we talked about should they have held on to Daniel or not. Other question is, you guys are saying Daniel's irreplaceable, but if he is to be gone from the team, who would be the best replacement in your guys' opinion for Daniel? There's been rumors that they're trying out.
Realistic.
Well, yeah, we could talk realistic, or we could just talk hypothetical, purely dream scenario hypothetical, but within reason. Let's maybe leave out the teams that are actually qualified to the major, because I can't see them ever letting a player go if they've already qualified to the major. But the 2 players that are rumored to be tried out so far are Hoxer and Cheese. Do you guys think those players are the best, or is there another dream option?
It might be the best they can get, but it's not going to be good enough. I don't think.
You go.
No, you go.
We talked about this on First Touch, and I said that you go for Hoxer I think that's the best option. I think he's still really talented. He's really still up there in terms of skill, and he can give you he puts you in the best spot to still be in contention for the majors. I think that's the best option there. If they go with Cheese or even Aqua, they to me are trying to build a team for the future. They're not trying to build a team for the opportunity to still contend for majors right now and still contend for a potential. I mean, I don't think whoever they pick up, you're not going to win a world championship, but still like make noise at the world championship. So like Aqua, Two Piece, Cheese, all those players right there that who like could be options, even like Evo maybe. All none of those players are gonna make it to where you can be a championship contending team now. Hawksor would make you like a low end in my eyes.
What about a swap deal? Torment.
Wait, did
Torment on.
you say wait, if you get Hawksor, you're a low end championship contending team?
Yeah, what do you mean by that? Wait, what's wrong with that take? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with that?
Wait,
Extrapolate what your thoughts are.
What's a championship? World championship?
Yeah, like you'd have to hit the most hot
come
streak of all
on,
time.
Oh,
wait,
hell
yeah,
no. Hang
that's
on a minute.
exactly.
Like,
That's
pump the brakes.
No. Like the betting odds would be significantly low. You have less than
What percentage? What percentage?
you have it's like less than
Like
it's less than one. It's
Okay,
like
enough.
I say low end. I say you have like an opportunity. Like there's like a world where hypothetically it could happen. With any of those other players,
their way.
yeah, exactly.
Opponents can't make it.
And then
to
they
their
just pop
COVID,
off. They
grand
pop
final.
off in a series. For any of those other guys, I don't think there's no shot. There's no
By
shot.
low
Right
end, he means no end.
no.
They can't
you-
even win a regional with Dan. Like, what do you want? Hawkser's going to come in,
Well,
who
then that-
can't
well,
even
then-
make
I don't
main
know about that,
event.
though.
Yeah, well,
I don't
then it becomes that conversation what Rise was talking about, where
Yeah.
I mean,
I
but
agree.
you saw what LJ could do on Oxygen with players who were nowhere near as good as Dan. He almost brought them to a major.
People forgetting about how good LJ actually was.
And
was
listen,
very
I'm
good.
not gonna put too much stock in the Johnny's 2v2s, but you also saw what LJ could do.
Don't get me started, bro. Don't even
L-
mention
LJ
it.
It sounds
could
like
do-
he's putting
Two v2s,
stock
huh?
into it.
No.
Sounds like you're putting stock into it, bro.
No. I'm not putting too much stock. I'm not gonna move or elevate somebody's position
Elevate
in the
what,
world.
Vert to SSG?
Go be-
bro.
Pause.
No, I'm not gonna like, but I'm just saying like you see LJ can compete in lobbies with the best of the best.
All I'm
So
saying
we
is
know,
when
T-Bates, we know how
Alpha-
good he
when
could have
Alpha
been.
lost the France 2v2 lobby that I did, T-Bates said that you shouldn't be like using that to move Alpha around in your rankings.
I didn't
But
move
don't know, it
LJ.
sounds like you're suggesting we should take LJ even more seriously now that he's won an NA 2v2
No.
lobby. Interesting.
No. What I'm saying is that he's a still really great player. I think he's gotten a knock since he's been at SSG since they haven't been performing. Because I think immediately once people thought they put Daniel and LJ together with Arsenal, you were going to be contending for major wins, not missing out on majors. And so it'll be interesting. Like I think you saw what Hawksor did against Furia.
Hold on. Yeah, those are two very different things though. Like major wins or like not missing majors. Like that's two very different things.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I had
Like,
them as not missing majors, but I didn't think they were going to be like favorites. I had them like same as last year.
they were definitely seen as major winners because they were so
No,
close.
maybe
with
maybe by some people, but you can go back and listen to our preseason. Like when we talked about this, I had them same as last year, kind of fourth, fifth, and
That's incredible.
same as last year.
I mean,
Yeah,
for
incredible
context,
that I
though,
was
with-
so accurate. I guess. Incredible.
Oh
where
my
T-Bates is
God.
coming from, we have to remember, for those that are following along at home, is that T-Bates said out of his own mouth that LJ is going to be better than Zen in the future.
And that take would age like fine wine.
And
That's-
also had him top 25 in the world before he
It's
was
cra-
even on
it's-
Space
it's-
Station.
It's it's crazy how y'all ride one take. You know why? Because the one time I might be wrong, and we're gonna see if we're gonna see if it actually ends up being true, whether I'm wrong or not. That's the only take where I'm a little suspect about deep in my heart. But that's the only take that gets me calls for pause when I go to bed at night. Anyways, though, the point I'm making is they were doing that well with Slater, Arsenal, and Daniel, and then you add LJ. A lot of people think, especially in the NA circle, a lot of people think LJ's better than Reynolds. You have
He is. Like,
and then
he
you
is.
put LJ with Daniel. A lot of people thought that it really didn't matter where they finished in a online, but when they were at the LAN, because they all see Arsenal as a LAN player as well. When you're at the LAN, they expected them to be in contention to win majors, and that hasn't happened. They're missing that.
That's the jump I
my
wasn't
take
willing
on
to make, though.
SSG is the exact same. They're the exact same team as Moistar now, where they're the same. Like they're all very similar, if not the same player. They all wanted like LJ was the focal point on Oxygen, and he was like the carry. Astral was like the focal point on KC, and he was like the carry. Joyo, like, and then like you have Joe and Daniel, like these young mechanical players who also like being the focal point. So you can't have two focal points on a team. You either have to work around Daniel or you have to work around LJ, and the other one doesn't want to do that. And it's the same thing as like Astral and Joe. They don't want to like both. They both want to do the same thing, so it just doesn't work. And I don't think that takes away from like LJ and Daniel, but like as players individually. But when you read about SSG, it's always like, damn, LJ's been terrible this split. But realistically, LJ's having to do something that he doesn't want to do, you know? And I think it's the same. The SSG situation, what they've done is the same of what Furia have done this split, where they've got rid of the technically worst player in Kaio and Rattles, and they've got a technically better player, like in the public opinion, like individually better in terms of Lost and LJ, and now Yan can't work, Daniel can't work because the teams were based around them, and now they have to try and
I got something I want to ask all y'all. I brought it up earlier on FT. The winning formula for the past few world championships, in my eyes. Now, this is going to be interesting. I already know Johnny's going to hard disagree.
Wait. You said past few world championships, so you're talking before COVID as well.
I'm talking about, yes. The winning formula has been consistent. You get two superstars who you could say are arguably two of the best in the game at the time. And you pair them with a third great player. A third player who is going to be really good. You can rank him high in his own respective region, but you know he's not going to be a top 5, top 10 player in the world. He's somewhere a little bit lower than that.
You're saying Monkey Moon Seiko Superstar is extra
and
good.
Extra
saying
really
Justin
great.
Garrett Superstar is turbo good. What about season 7?
See, season 7 is the issue. Season 7 is the iffy one. Season 7 is the only iffy one that I was thinking about. I was like, because Scrub's a superstar, I know that. But then you probably rate Fairy above where I already
was the MVP of that World Championship, in my opinion, at least for me.
No.
Season 7, I had Fairy. Scrub got it because he was like the storyline. Because they always give MVP because of the story, but I think it was Fairy's story.
If you're talking about World Championships, wouldn't you just kind of throw in majors as well? Like, wouldn't you say the same thing for the major teams?
Surely, you have to.
You're talking about
They're more recent as well. Surely you have to.
You're talking about the winning formula here. So, like, if you're talking about winning events and winning lands, like, you would surely throw those in, right?
Well, I wasn't thinking about lands in general. I was thinking about the World Championship. I think for lands would be different. Lands, I mean, I still think the World Championship people would just value that. They look
Worlds was the same as the majors. There is no way. It was exactly the same last season.
No. I guess it was the World Championship. No,
it had a different name. We do the exact same thing. It feels the same. You're still in front of the crowd. Like,
different prestige. People walked in with different expectations.
I disagree. I think there has to be inherently just a naturally
psychological.
Apart
from Sweden, no crowd. The others were all the same.
No,
to me.
I don't think.
Wait, are you saying all like the majors and worlds were the same? Is that what you said?
No.
Yeah, like LA, London.
I think so. I genuinely think so too.
Like, that won. Are you going on TBates' formula?
No. I'm just saying. Like, I think like as a player, you want to win a land no matter what, and like you want to win worlds a little bit more maybe, but it's not going to make the difference of like
little.
But why do you think G2
a little because you want to win a LAN, like in general.
I don't think G2 looks bad in that grand final if it was at a major. I just don't think so.
I agree.
I just don't think so.
If that's a major, I think G2 would be fine, but because it was Worlds, the additional prestige, the additional money on the line, I think it's just like inherently putting pressure on your mind. And the more you think about it in the run-up to the event, all you're thinking about for months, you're thinking about this is worth so much. This is so important. I've grinded all this time for this. So even if you're not actively, people always get confused when we say money's a factor and like, you know, the prestige is a factor, the crowd is a factor, because when you're going up for an aerial in that game, yeah, you're not thinking about any of that. You're just going for the ball.
Yeah.
But like, it's because of all of the pressure that's been building up for months, weeks and months, and it's all like, you know, culminating in this moment, and then you have to perform. Yeah, of course it's going to mean something more. It has
hold
to.
on. Now, actually, wait, let's pause here. Rise.
Hello.
What do you think about this conversation? Tell me your thoughts.
Can I get a recap, because a lot has just been said? Which part?
So summary is, me and TBates think that the World Championship final, or World Championship overall, but definitely the final, had a much higher pressure on the players who took part in it than the majors and the major finals last season.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you showed up to a major
say,
versus when you showed up to a World Championship, like it was a different feeling as a player?
Yeah, 100%. It was definitely like but yeah, it was different. It was a different like environment for sure.
How so? Like just in your head, or what?
I mean, in terms of like the organization, it was the same. Like it was still like it felt like the prac rooms and the like player area was just like a major. But I don't know. It was just like, it's just in your head. I think you're just like, wow, this is Worlds. Like this is different. It's not even like it's next level, but it's just in your head. Like it didn't even feel different to like London, for example.
So do you think because you had won a major that now you wanted to win Worlds? Like, okay, so I'm trying to compare this as like, maybe there's a player out there who didn't win a major event, and there's like, I just want to win a LAN. But since you won a LAN, since you won a major, now you're like, okay, I got to take the next step. I got to win Worlds.
I mean, to be honest, I've said this before, I wish we hadn't won against SSG. If I'm convinced 100%, if we didn't score that kickoff goal against SSG, we win Worlds. Like 100%. After London, I think Vatira went on like a 10-day holiday. Like everyone was at Gamers 8 grinding, and we were just like at home, not playing the game. Like my hours dropped because like we had no scrims, because Vatira was on holiday, which he did ask for, and we were like, yeah, sure. But like it was just, we definitely slowed down. And if we had lost that to SSG, we'd have been like, we were the better team that whole series. Like we would have won Worlds, is my point. And I think we kind of slowed down after this.
Regardless of whether Worlds is different, you're saying that the winning formula is different from Worlds to the major.
No,
no. T-Bates was saying like his original point was like we don't include the majors or those lands as, you know, needing the winning formula of two superstars and a holding player or a good player or whatever.
Well,
think back.
It's the same thing. Like whether it's different.
Who's I think in that aspect it's the same. Like the formula has to apply to winning. Like
I didn't think about the majors.
We switched the topic a bit there.
Yeah, that was my point.
I didn't think about the majors. I was just thinking about
the
Worlds. But I guess when you add the majors in there, because like the majors that formula. Because like I think Moist were all superstars. I think G2 were all can all be superstars when they're all on. And then BDS when they first won with Mark.
It's been were G2 not at that time really just Atomics the guy? And
BDS and G2 were like
superstars.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't really identify the same way as Monkeyman and Seiko were like right at both in MVP contention. Although I think JNaps did have a phenomenal winner.
He had a phenomenal event.
That split as a whole, I think it was clearly Atomic.
Yeah,
and then two other guys. I don't know if you need two superstars. Extra Monkey Moon.
It depends how the team plays.
Really.
For example, SSG needed another superstar. Like LJ isn't like he's very, very good, but he's not like a carry player, you know? Like on Moist, I was the non-superstar, you know? I was the one that kind of like filled, like I would say all the time, I would fill the gaps. Joyo could just pull anything out of anywhere at any time. And Vatira was just like the most consistent player, would just basically just play behind us. We'd force the ball to him and then he'd score. So I was literally just the glue of the team.
Not really though. You also my MVP for Winter Major. Rise.
I was the MVP in the Winter Major. Like I'm not saying that I wasn't the best player of that tournament. I definitely was.
Oh gosh.
T-Bates, do not get me started, bro, because I will put you in the ground in this argument, bro. I
You've
was
already
10
lost
times better than
multiple
Atomic that
times.
tournament, and you know it, bro.
Did you
You
win?
know it.
I don't know it. Did you win?
You do know it, bro. You
Yeah,
Well,
said
he had
see,
to
it's
win
not.
two
It's
more
not
games.
called. The award isn't called MVP OTWT, which stands for MVP on the winning team. It's just MVP, most valuable player.
But I think I said this on T-Bates stream the other night. I understand why he voted for Atomic, and it's because in American sport, the MVP is always on the winning team. So like in
winning
basketball,
team, yeah.
like whoever wins the NBA, the MVP is always on that team. But whereas like in like Europe, it's just the best player. Like for
Yeah.
example, I think there was a few CS:GO majors where Simple didn't win, but he was the MVP. And yeah,
We're very used to
I
that
was the best
concept
player at
in
that
sports
tournament,
as well. Yeah,
and I won't
sports
hear
as
it from
well. It's
anyone.
like MVP can lose, like Modric, like looking so sad as he gets a man of the match,
Yeah,
man of the
Mbappe.
tournament
Was it
award
Mbappe?
while losing. Did he? Or did Mbappe win it for the
Mbappe
World
won it
Cup?
for the World Cup, I think. He got the golden boot at least, and he
They look
broke.
so
I think he broke
sad.
the trophy when he got it. He was, yeah.
They should stop giving it to people right after they lose. But yeah, I think he was definitely the best though. So can't really. I feel like we need a new name for that award. We can keep giving it to a winning like player, but it can't be called the most valuable player. It's just literally not true in some cases. It definitely is not given to the right player like a lot of lands. It's more storyline than actual valuable. It should be called like most storyline player or something.
What if you vote before the grand finals? Do you think that would help?
We did.
Possibly, but then
Oh, you
what if
did?
somebody like really pops off in the grand final, like in season 6, Torment? You know, like all of Cloud9 were pretty close, and Torment like carried the grand final, double
You know,
2
you
years in a row, bracket
shouldn't
reset.
get it
Like,
before, because like imagine, right? I'd like going into the grand final, they'd given it to me, and then I dropped one of the worst performances of all time,
yeah.
and then that'd be bad.
We do vote before the grand finals.
Really?
Yeah. Even if you have a terrible performance, it's for the whole entire event. So I told you, I told you on
But
my
that's
stream,
because like it's locked into winning team in Rocket League because that's what they do in America, and Rocket League is made by an American company. So like
Yeah.
2 MVPs are picked. If this team wins, it's this guy. If this team wins, it's this guy. But yeah, the whole conversation here is that I think that's stupid personally because it's literally not the most valuable player sometimes winning. And also like you have to wait till after the grand final to know as well.
It's
Like, I
also
think
not locked, but it's not
Yeah.
done or
Yes,
locked
yeah, it's
before the
not
finals.
done,
You can start voting,
you can
like
change it.
it comes
Yeah.
up. Yeah, but
I feel like it should.
I've done
Would it be so bad
afterwards.
to just take that and do it at a separate moment? Does it have to be like on the stage, the MVP like award? Does it have to be on the stage after the final that gets done? Because I feel like it really like also
Ours
in the
wasn't on
past
the.
sometimes.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I know
Was it?
yours was when Joyo
Yours
got
was.
it because like everybody was chanting MVP for Joyo and they gave MVP to
But
Joyo
wasn't
live
it?
on the
Didn't he
stage.
get it
Didn't they?
on the? Didn't he get it on the desk?
No,
Oh, did he?
we did
I thought he
offensive
got it
and
live.
defensive MVP.
Oh,
On
there was.
the,
Oh yeah, there was.
on
Because
the
I
desk.
always feel
Okay.
like looking at that. I mean, maybe you can speak to this, Rise. Sometimes when it's just like this team's the winner, let's celebrate their moment. It's like, oh yeah, and you're also the MVP though, so doubly celebrate this guy. And the other 2 players are like, oh well, I
But I'm
mean,
not gonna
that's
lie,
cool
it
for
was
him. But
like it
Oh, he got it
felt
on the
like kind of shit. Like for example, in LA when
Yeah.
G2 won, we were just like on the stage, and it was just like, okay, good job. And then it was like, okay, Queso, get off. And I felt bad for Falcons when we won. Like I wish I'd said like to give a shout out to Falcons when we won, but yeah, I didn't really think about it at the time. But yeah, it is
I
kind
feel
of
like the
shitty for the team
MVP
that
should be
loses.
like different time as well. Though. It should be like
Yeah,
why
yeah.
not just give the MVP award like later in the show, post like show desk or something, like announce it there because it
Well, I
doesn't
mean, a
need to
lot
be
of the
like
times it does end
in that
late.
moment.
Yeah, that's what we did in LA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes it's on the stage. Sometimes it's.
Oh,
I feel like
regardless,
it's better on
though,
desk.
Atomic was the best player that land, Ross. I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna stick to
Yeah,
it.
I think he was not even debatably not even the best on his team at that LAN. Like JNaps
In the
is
grand
probably the
final,
best on the
definitely
team.
not. We only played them once, but in the grand final, he wasn't even the best on the team.
I think JNaps is their best player if you're talking just a LAN, but marginally. Atomic is too inconsistent. He had the highest peaks, but he had some pretty low lows. He had some pretty Alpha 54 moments driving past the ball. Like looking at it sideways. Well, ball cam's like, wait, where are we going? I don't know. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, aren't you a
Did they ever
G2
actually-
glazer as well, Bates? You glaze G2, bro.
I guess I glaze him.
You glaze
like-
them.
I was actually just
What?
kind of about to ask a question about that. Like, did you start glazing to like get a job with them, or
You were jobless, and then you glazed your way to a job.
was that just like a side effect of the glazing?
Wait, quick question before we roast TBates some more. Quick question: did G2 ever release like comms of that like grand final against Moist at the Winter Major? I never saw it personally, but did they ever put that out there? I'd love to hear the comms in that moment, like the end of the first series, and just genuinely just the comms the whole time.
When they messed up the kickoff.
No, it wasn't even a kickoff, was it? Wasn't it like Atomic
it
and
wasn't.
Chicago both like drove forward, then they both reversed, and they're both like just doing 3-point parking
They
burns?
both called it.
Chicago called
they
him
both
off
left.
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Is there comms out there? I've never seen it.
They did release them. Yeah.
What channel?
I think it was Chicago's fault. I think it was Chicago's fault.
I really want to listen to the comms of that whole series because two things. I was like, first of all, that I want to hear the comms of that moment, but I also want to hear how are they like regaining after that. Like I was so impressed that they regained after a fail that embarrassing. So
I think JNAPS was ready to
really
leave the team after that happened, but lucky they
tragic.
won the rematch.
Was he actually done? Like done?
Nah, he was just pissed. I don't know if he said it or Chicago said it, but yeah, they had to regain pretty hard after that one. I think Sathya had to lock them back in.
I think there was a part of that
Crazy.
in like their post game interview, like when they did win. Somebody ended up the host, whoever asked the question about like how did you regain or whatever. I think they mentioned Sathya and stuff like that.
Oh, it's on G2's channel. Yeah, it's on G2's channel.
Yeah,
I think.
I was so happy about that moment because that whole grand final, it felt like Vatira was just like camping on net and he was like kind of scared to go for the ball. So after game 6, like, because we lost the game 6, right? Because we went 3-1 up in the series and we were cruising, and then we started playing like to not lose instead of to win. Yeah, Nick remembers. I remember after game 6, we conceded like we were like 4-1 up or something. And I was like, Vatira, go for the ball, bro. You're sitting in the next cut. They're so scared of you. Every time you go for the ball, they shit themselves. And then for that goal, Vatira just turned in on the mid boost, and they completely just like shit themselves. And I was like, oh my god. I was so happy when that happened.
You know, I just went to watch this, or skip through this. What they've done, the G2 comms for the Winter Major. For the first series against Team Queso Grand Final, they've showed JNAP's opening goal 6 seconds in, 1-0, big celebration. Then after that goal, it just cuts to the bracket reset. They're just like, no, don't need to know what else happened.
Wait, they only showed one goal from the entire first series?
Yeah, they showed the JNAP's 1-0 at
like that.
6 seconds in, and then it just doesn't show the capitulation. It's like, yeah, no, don't worry about that. Let's watch the second series.
Let's move on,
Here we
guys.
are actually at game 2 of the second series. It cuts to game 2, 3 minutes in. So we're like, forget about the previous 10 minutes.
They just cut out
11.
like 40 minutes of content.
Actually, yeah, they cut out 5. Yeah, they cut out 13 minutes. They're like, don't worry about that. Nothing happened. Here we are on Forbidden Temple, and we've just scored again. Isn't that amazing? Like, come on, we want to see the whole thing. I want to see the regain. This is just like going from the win to another win with the whole like story gone. I'm like, oh well, maybe one day they'll release the whole thing. Probably not. Maybe they're not. Maybe they were like roasting each other and they don't want to put that out there. I'd be very surprised though. Another Dignitas season. What season was it? Season 8 situation where they released the Astral size to the public and everybody was roasting it.
Jesus, yeah, that was when Verge was like, Astral, I need you to come more, and he's like, no thanks. That was oh my days.
I can't believe they released that.
Oh,
Chicago says that's every org though. Yeah, true.
Yeah, they do completely chop up the comms. They just like get rid of most of it.
Yeah, I really I remember I was casting this like we were talking. I was talking to Jarby and James between the series. Like I don't know how they're gonna regain. Then get the next series started. They lost game 1. I was like, oh man, this is looking exactly as you'd expect for a team that just lost in that manner. But then they came back and won 4 out of the next 5 games, and I was like, I will really want to hear what's going on in their comms in that series because they've done really well to regain. Incredible.
Well, I think G2 won that for 2 reasons. One, I think Rise and the boys ran out of gas.
100%, bro. We went back to we won the first one and we were like, okay, good shit, one more. We go back to our prac room, we sit down, you gotta come back. It was awful. It was so AIDS.
Yeah.
That whole day was like play, because our schedule was like the worst one as well. So it was like play phase, go back to the prac room, play SSG. All these are game 7, except phase, which was game 6, I think.
I think
go
5 actually.
to the prac room, and then back to the stage, game 7. Like, Do you remember when we ordered food and they gave it to someone who was already out? Oh yeah, well yeah, we got shagged on that day. It was awful. We got
It was all
absolutely
rigged.
shagged.
All rigged to make sure NA won. And then
Look,
also,
bro,
I
in
think
the end,
this.
if G2 don't hit that like pass and play,
Yeah, and that's what I was going for. That was the second thing.
That was the thing
passive
that won them
play
the
from
last.
Atomic. They won off that. I think they took the
From
soul
did.
from
Atomic,
y'all.
bro,
I think they took the soul from y'all in that game 5. I think y'all were gonna win that game because G2 didn't have anything. G2 didn't have anything. Y'all
No,
were
we
gonna
were
win that
cooking them.
game.
Yeah, we
Y'all
were
were
cooking.
cooking them, and then Atomic had that ridiculous play.
He pre-jumped twice. He pre-jumped
pre-jumped
to try and
twice.
he was like trying to pre-jump to receive a pass, but the pass kind of went behind him, so he turned around midair, dropped it back down. He's like, "Yeah, come on, can you please hit the ball in front of me this time?" Then he pre-jumped again for the high ball, and it goes too far this time. But he's like, "Yeah, no problem. I'm just gonna dunk it." I still can't
And he
believe
sat
that
on
play to this
somebody
day.
on the back wall. And he sat on somebody
Yeah,
in the
like
back wall
landed
too.
on Vatira.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also, like in hindsight, though, like see that play was probably the dumbest play I've ever seen. Like,
Doesn't matter.
They
genius.
passed.
it
They
does
passed
matter
about
because
6
like
times on our halfway line and no one challenged. Like we just didn't challenge the ball.
to be
The
fair though, like
gameplay then compared to
they
now
were
was
booming it
a
around.
lot worse. They were moving it, but like
No,
nowadays.
they were there. It was such a random play. I'm like, where do you even challenge? To
Listen.
be fair, but I mean, people are gonna call it copium, but it was a dumb play by Atomic to jump there. The second pre-jump, I'm like, that shouldn't work. But
it was
think it worked.
desperation, really.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
it was-
Rise. Yeah, I think that's where I got disagreed on him because I mean they knew they didn't have anything. Like I think like Queso had him. Like Rise and them had him. Like they couldn't do anything. They had to try something, you know. So like I think it was just like it was a gamble. I call it a gamble. They were just trying out stuff at that point because they knew they needed a spark, and if that spark didn't come,
maybe
they were gonna lose.
Weren't they losing 1-0 though or something?
I think
thought
it was
they were losing
1-1 or
1-0.
I think it was 2. Was it 2-1?
I think they
Yeah,
were
it was-
losing 1-0 or 2-1, by one goal.
Yeah,
and
but
then
it looks like they were gonna score though. Like Queso had all the momentum.
yeah,
like,
it
they
was
gave
1-0.
it five.
I've
If we
gone
won
to
that
find
game,
it.
it would have been
1-0.
done. If we
Yeah.
won that game, we either would have won in 7 or we would have won the game after. It was
Yeah.
when we went behind, it was like we've done everything, bro. We've done like
Mhm.
absolutely everything, and now we've got to win. We've got to win this game and then go 7. Like it
Yep.
was just like, bro, it's too much.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
the-
this is like I don't know. This like I'm looking at it now. Like you're like really not even doing anything wrong, right? I'd say like when the play starts, it's kind of like you guys are boost starved. So
I'll
what
tell
you
you
can't
right
even
now,
challenge.
What went wrong if you watch? They did like one pass, and I think Vatira just flipped to our corner. If Vatira just challenges, it would have been fine.
He
But
had 30 boost, so he flipped away. Is why.
Yeah, he just
it
flipped,
was
he flipped to our
had
corner, right,
39
and then he went up
boost.
the backboard. And then Joe
Yeah.
dived really late to try and compensate, and then it's just
Yeah, he
stretching,
probably
and
should have
then
stayed
it's
in the
just
play.
reps. Yeah,
Yeah, you're
you're
both on
it's
30ish
just-
boost. You want the other player to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happens.
Still, I think Vatira, he
Gotta
almost
get
nailed
back.
this read. If he got that ball sideways, then this would look like it's one of those plays that in hindsight, if this doesn't work, everybody will be like, "What is Atomic doing?" But you actually got a block on Vatira's touch.
It's like a
so
gamble.
it
it's like a
works.
10% chance
total
that
gamble.
Vatira doesn't see him and just hits
I
him
don't
too.
think you're saying that Bates said they needed something like this. They had
They
a
needed
minute
something.
and 40. They had a minute and
They needed
45 on the clock.
It
1-0.
was the game flow. It was you could feel it. You could feel Queso was starting. Queso was waning on them. They were about to finish him. They were gonna finish up at 6. You could feel it was coming. G2 was on the last legs, and they pulled off the most miraculous play, one of the most miraculous plays of the year. And then they gave him that little bit of a lift, and then it snatched the soul from Queso. They ended up dropping another goal after that, and then Rise and the boys like, we gotta go back again. We gotta beat them twice again.
We had them beat. It was like we had them beat, and then it's like, damn, we gotta go like 2 in a row again. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now
maybe we just have to disagree though, because I don't think that was last legs. They're losing 1-0 in game 5. The series score is 2-2.
Maybe when you look at it, but like
when you look at it
on
gotta think
paper,
back-
yeah. But when you think about the momentum of the series, how it had gone up to that point, how the tournament had got up to that point, like that was us, bro. That was all us.
It was. I remember that. Yeah,
And
it was all you guys. It was one-way traffic. But I mean, there's still time left. I mean, there's still like a minute 45 is a long time. Like I don't know.
But there was a minute 45 of us, just like.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's a gamble. It's a very early gamble.
Oh no, I'm with you. I'm with you. All right, now let's get back to the ridiculous question that Rizzo asked me. That's been on my mind for the past 20 minutes.
You've had some time to think.
I don't even remember. So loot me back in.
No, that's you back in. You're falling asleep. Don't worry. It's time for me to wake you up.
It was 20 minutes ago.
You said that
Oh, is it the
was
Master Glazer?
Glizzy Goblin, Glaze Bates, G2 for a job. That is incorrect. That is incorrect.
Glizzy Goblin.
I was just hyping up a team who I thought could win. And that's all it is. That's all it is. I had no intention of getting a job. I didn't even know about the team stream. I just thought that G2 could win.
No.
And it was a combination of the base never wrong brand, my first ever LAN, the hype of the whole entire moment. I picked a team that nobody picked to win, and they won. And I said, yeah, I'm that guy. That was my coming on party to all CS. And that's exactly what happened. There's no glazing to nobody. That's all I need to answer.
Glazers always get the bag, don't they? It happens every time.
I'm
Look what
convinced that you
Dazarin's
pulled
doing.
up in a lime Lamborghini paid by G2. Or
that was not paid by G2. That was Psyonix's lime Lamborghini.
So you claim. So you claim.
I just had to answer that question.
Was that a fluke, though? Was you predicting G2 winning a fluke? How many grand finalists have you predicted out of the 10 LAN grand finalists that have existed so far in RLCS? How many of them did you predict to be there? Out of 10? What's your current record?
You're talking about the
how many you don't need to predict the I'm just saying
about the World Championships?
Finalists. No, there's been 5 RLCS LANs so far since the pandemic. 4 last season, 1 this season.
Oh, you want me to put myself on record? Okay, sure.
Yeah,
I won't lie to you.
How's your total record? How are you doing out of 10? I'm 5 out of 10 right now. I'm doing pretty good for grand finalists.
Okay,
Not so good for winners. I'm 0 out of.
Okay, so I'm assuming you had BDS NRG in Sweden.
No, I didn't have BDS. I had Endpoint Energy actually.
Oh, okay. I had BDS NRG. Then I had.
You had Envy. You had Envy winning. That's not you.
Oh yeah, the machine.
Yeah, well, we
He's just lying.
I don't even know you're a prediction. I know you're a prediction.
Wait. Yeah, that's right. Actually, I think I was wrong. I think I had MVG2. Yeah. At MVG2.
You had 0. You just tried to claim 2.
Yeah, I had BDS NRG.
The second one, I had G2 winning.
Yeah.
I don't know who I had in the final.
So that counts for 5.
I don't know. And then the third one,
he had G2 winning.
Yeah, definitely. He would have had G2 winning everything.
Always have G2.
No, I don't think I had G2
winning this major.
I don't know if I had G2 winning that one. I might have. I don't know, but I don't think I had. I think I had. Regardless, though, I think I had BDS in that final in spring. It was.
Didn't you put Falcons? Wasn't that when you went real high on them?
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah,
Falcons. Falcons were in the final against somebody. It was probably G2.
Yeah, probably G2. Yeah.
Okay. And then World Championship, I had G2, and I had NRG. No, remember why? No, I was trolling though. You remember this though, Johnny? Cause I would have had G2 BDS, but then I had it. Cause I said, this is gonna be the time where we don't have we don't have an EU team in the final.
Well, you wouldn't have had BDS.
No, yeah, I would have.
You did it though. You can't just claim that you were trolling.
No. I was talking about the World Championship. Okay. Well, I picked G2 NRG for the World Championship. But that's just because I was using the copium storyline of trying to make it to where there's no EU.
You got G2,
person.
G2.
But I had Falcons in the final.
Falcons, yeah, you got G2 Falcons.
And then this last one, who's in the finals?
It was,
I most definitely didn't predict this one. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you that much.
You would have to be a madman to predict that. To be fair.
I most definitely
in the final, bro. It's crazy. If anyone did that,
I would say like the Bates, I think you forget sometimes the Bates Never Wrong brand survives so much because in your head you fix all of the wrong predictions. Like you're like, oh yeah, I predicted the Fall Major Grand Final to a T. It's like, well, actually, no, you did. You had NVG2 in the final. Like you just got 0 and 2.
Someone said in chat as well, if Bates admits he's wrong, does that mean he's still always right?
He just fixes it, so he's still right. Yeah. The brand is untouchable.
That was funny. BDS NRG, yeah, I had that.
Got that.
Yeah, Envy.
NVG2.
I forgot the machine was still a thing back then.
Oh yeah, the machine. Unbelievable. So actually, you've just predicted Atomic to win every LAN.
Yeah, you just had the head of the machine moving over, and you just kept going. It's been the machine the whole way.
Like you act like you're so smart, but actually, you just predicted Atomic to win everything that's ever happened. Like that's all you've done.
Yeah, he just loves you that much. He's actually an Atomic Glazer, which is now why he's on the team stream.
Do you have Atomic top 5 in the world?
In the world? Oh, without question. Without question.
Currently.
I think people are. I don't know how you don't have him in your top. He's the best player in the game in terms of setting up people. He has been for the past year and a half. I don't think it's close. Like in terms of being like getting by one or getting by two to make it easier on another. There's no other person that does that in the game at that proficiency.
And it's not close, he says. Yeah, Chronic's pretty good at that, getting past
I think
two.
Chronic's pretty good at it. I think Itachi's pretty good at it. Honestly, I think Itachi's probably the closest person to him. At the moment. But just in terms of that movement, that ability to get by you, like however he pleases, like I don't think anybody in the game does that. I don't think anybody in the game does it at that level. And that's why I value it so much. Because then he can score too. Like he had that one series whenever they went who they beat in that like game 7, I think it was the last regional where he scored like the off the ceiling top left corner shot. The whole series he had like 9 assists and he didn't score 1 goal. and then in game 7 he gave you 2. Like I really value that playmaking. I don't think people value that enough. Which is interesting though, because then people value Itachi so much. But I don't think Itachi's as good as Atomic in that category. So, but I think Itachi's really.
It depends on the time frame. Like since the start of since 1 year, no. But if we're talking the last 2 months, probably yes. Like it depends on the time. What time frame are we talking about here? Like how often are we? Like I feel like your top 5 is
It's hard for me to change my top 5.
Yeah, you just kind of leave it. It's like past year, maybe even year and a half for your top 5, whereas like everybody else changes it much quicker.
Oh yeah,
over a shorter time frame because Rocket League's changing so much. You kind of have to, right?
Bates, that's one of the craziest things about you is you always say like recency bias. You guys all got recency bias, but I don't understand how can you not have recency bias? When you're like,
you got ancient bias, prehistoric bias.
Like you watch a player do like absolutely garbage, and then you watch a bunch of players surpass them, but you're like, nah, hold on, this guy in 2018 was absolutely crazy. You guys don't understand.
Bring up 2018. Goofy.
Okay, exaggeration, but like you'll bring up stuff from like so far in the past, and it's just like, but that's not what anybody's talking about anymore.
Yeah. Well, I don't bring up stuff from too far in the past.
No, not 2018. I'll give you that.
Let me tell you about over zero.
Like for example, like I still got Monkey Moon in my top 5. I mean, I just do.
Yeah, see, actually, funny that you say that because we've got live chatters saying that Johnny will still put Monkey Moon in his top 3. No, I won't. TBates might though. Like you don't understand.
Monkey Moon is still top 5 probably.
Yeah, I don't think top 5. Top 5 is too much.
Top 5 in the world.
I think top 10.
Yeah,
top 10.
Top 10 is disrespectful though.
He's contending.
Top 10 is not disrespectful. Top 5 is.
He hasn't gotten worse at the game. He just isn't winning at the same ridiculous.
He definitely has gotten worse.
No, his team has gotten worse.
I wouldn't
say they have gotten worse.
I wouldn't even say he's gotten worse. I think everybody else has gotten better.
I don't think so.
Come on.
I think he's definitely like playing a lower level.
Deteriorated as a player. No.
Well, I mean, okay, but we're talking relative. Everybody's improving constantly, but we're talking relative to the bar that's like constantly rising.
Okay, sure.
He's gotten worse.
Monkey Moon was so much better than everybody else, though. That's what we got to take into account. He was arguably number 1 player in the world since RLCX. RLCSX.
Arguably, really.
Okay, there you go. Some people
season
can
X, say, started last season.
So like since season X,
number 1,
and then on. And even going into this year, he was number 1.
I don't know yet, but like you can't ignore like a bad spring major and then 2 bad splits like this season. Like most of the last year for him has been pretty disappointing, and it's not like he was dropping crazy goals and like making perfect play the entire time.
That's not what
my point is like when he is winning or when he was winning when he won the world championship. He was definitely as an individual playing better. It's not like he has just played the same level in this season. I'm positive that watching his games, he just looks more awkward on the pitch, doesn't know where to go a lot more than in the past where he's like, I know exactly what to do. He just knows where to be. I mean, that's like part team, but part him. He's a third of the team. You can't just blame it all on Extra.
Well, yeah, I'm not blaming it on other people, but I think Seiko.
Well, you are if you're still putting Monkey Man at 1, but like,
well, no, he's not at 1.
If you're dropping him from 1 to 3, like you're probably putting a bit too much blame on Extra Seiko. I would say
1 to 4, 1 to 3.
I think
no.
All I'm saying is, if you're only dropping Monkey Man from 1 to 4, I think that's probably too much blame on his teammates.
I think but then maybe I am putting too much blame on his teammates because Seiko moved from being and Rise. I'm gonna let you go. Seiko moved from being arguably top 3 in everybody's list from last year. I don't even think and Seiko's performance when you watch the BDS tape has significantly deteriorated.
I would agree. He's gotten worse.
But I don't think Monkey Moon's gotten worse. Like you look at the performances Monkey Moon's still putting up. Like he's still putting up some numbers, as they say. But
he is, but he's definitely like part of a unit that are not performing as a unit. So like you can't just. I think it's one of the Daniel situations again where we're not putting any of the blame on Monkey Moon. We're just saying it's probably just his teammates because they don't have the numbers. It's like what happens with Daniel, where people are like, it's just his teammates. He's still the best, still top 3 NA when he's.
I mean, it's not like Monkey Moon has ever been like impossible to praise. I mean, impossible to critique. Like he's always had like flaws and he's always made mistakes, but like he still is up there. Like it's not like he's just become.
I mean, I said I'd probably still put him top 10. I think top 10 is pretty high, but like it's hard to stay top. I mean, you've got to put First Killer ahead of him, no brainer. You've got to put Vatira ahead of him. I feel like you've got to put at least one Gen G player ahead of him without any hesitation. That's like 3 no-brainers who are ahead of him. I'd say probably Appjack. I'd still put Rise ahead of him, not just because he's here. I've said this on my stream. I feel like one of the Team Liquid boys has to be ahead of him. Like, they're just doing too well to not have one player be better than Monkey Moon.
Yeah.
I'd probably say Atto.
I think you're pretty accurate, just except for Rise, because I don't watch Oxygen. That shit just makes me fall asleep every time I watch. I think you nailed it. You definitely nailed 4 of them.
I think going off of major... I think going off of majors, Rise has to be in there. Vatira, First Killer, absolutely have to be top 5. And then, I'd probably say Appjack and Atto based on their team success this season. It's not like Atto was doing badly at the end of last season either. Like, they kind of popped off. So, he's my... It's hard to pick a Team Liquid player. This is the difficulty. They're all very good.
Yeah, they're all really good.
They're all good, so nobody picks any of them. I'm going to say Atto because I feel like they deserve to be talked about. Like, because I think he's very good. I think he might be a top 5 player right now. I'd quicker say him than Monkey Moon. Currently, based in current form,
I think they just have really good teams.
They're all underrated though, because like they're all so good that we underrate all 3 of them instead of like just saying actually maybe they're all just better than we think.
I think one of the most difficult.
It's hard when there's no standout.
Yeah, one of the most difficult parts is probably because you say like, oh yeah, they're all just a really good team, but like. You should be able to judge that, but it seems impossible to judge. Like, it's so much easier just to be like double flip reset poggers. Like, that guy is the better player instantly. And so, like when you watch people do standout solo plays, like, that's the easier thing to judge. But when you have a team that works incredibly well together, just like, say, Complexity, like, I wouldn't really say there's a complete standout player on the roster. But, like, nobody's mentioning Complexity. Like, nobody's really, if you're saying top 5, which... it could be a good shout, maybe not, but it's just like...
You need a superstar.
It's so hard to actually make that judgment of like, this team's really good, everybody can notice it, but who is actually the best player on the team? You don't know. It's not possible.
Yeah.
Maybe
they need a bit more results though, because they kind of had they're on 1 split of success Complexity, so like Team Liquid are on 3 in a row making majors. Like that's a whole year of majors, including last season's spring. So Complexity need to do 2 more maybe. Or like just have a banger result this time, then maybe, I don't know, CRR Raise Bull can sneak into top 10. But Monkey Moon top 5, I don't think he's top 5. I don't think that's crazy to say.
He's competing for it.
Well, I've got him top 10.
I would say.
Top 10.
I've got him like at least like 7th.
Rise, where would you put yourself
He's in there.
In your top players rating?
I don't put myself.
You don't rate yourself.
Where would you put yourself?
I never do.
Rise.
I don't, mate.
Dude, you are the most anti-PR merchant I've ever seen, and you won't rate yourself.
Okay, your dad's watching right now. Rank your parents 1 to 2.
He got him!
Okay. Now let's talk about SSG for a second here.
Good answer, Rizzo. Good answer.
P Rizzo.
That's insane, bro. You hit me with the most insane take ever.
Uno reverse.
The most insane Uno reverse.
Yeah, literally P Rizzo.
Rise really hit you with the Uno reverse card. I ain't never seen Rizzo so speechless.
You should see the first 20 minutes of our last episode.
Okay, to be fair, you guys are doing
the first 2 hours of every episode.
You guys, every time I kept trying to talk, you guys would just keep butting in, keep trying to make me not speak, and I just gave up.
Oh dear.
Anyway, speaking of fantastic teams, it's good to see Gaming Gladiators boot camping at James Spot's new office facility in Michigan.
That's
Good
cool.
to see.
Yeah,
That's
that's
very
awesome.
cool.
I talked to him a little bit about it too, and I don't think the Gladiators were like really intending on boot camping in general. And then James Ball just kind of like offered up the place, the facility, and was like, "Hey, you guys boot camp? I can host. You know, make your way."
Wonder if
over
that
here."
was Marky Doodas doing
Definitely the
James.
Marky James connection. Yeah, must be.
Mm.
That's exciting. I'm happy for them because they're going to need all the practice they can get. It's going to be tough. Like
Tough group.
It'll be
they've
hard
got
for them.
the standard they've got to beat is 15th best team at the LAN. Because last
Actually-
time, that's what James Cheese managed to do. They managed to be the 15th best team at the LAN, partly because Pioneers were so bad that they were the worst team
Clearly worst.
comfortably.
Yeah.
So like that's what Gaming Gladiators are aiming for. Top 14. They have to outperform, even if they don't win
Honestly,
in their group. They have to like
if they win
outperform
it,
the
if
other
they win a
teams.
single game, I think they'll be happy. Like not like a single game, I think they'll be like, we'll take it. You know,
Mm.
like it's. I don't think it's realistic to have them winning a series, even though their group is like teams that like
It's a
the
group of life, yeah.
it is the group of life. But yeah, that's what I'm saying, Chrome. I don't know, like they're gonna go to NA and what, just play ranked, I guess.
Bubble
people
teams
aren't gonna-
potentially. Well, actually, bubble teams probably don't even.
Nah,
There's,
but I don't think
there's
bubble
probably
teams
no,
will really
but
give them a scrim.
not even that. I just don't think bubble teams exist at the moment.
True.
But I'm pretty sure they are there today. They got there today,
Yeah.
or at least three of them, like Marquee.
That's cool.
Not the whole team, but
They're there for a while then.
yeah.
That's pretty
They
sick.
should I mean, I hope they get scrims. That would be like, even if it's not a full like hour, I feel like it would make sense for teams to scrim them, like get an idea of where they're at, what they're up to, because they're probably not gonna make it out of their group. But the teams in the other groups, like could damage the the teams like Ground Zero, Team Secret, Team Liquid's confidence. If Gaming Gladiators can get a game off them, they're probably like mentally in the bin. So like that would be beneficial for the other groups to do that. I think Group C plays Group A. Yeah, they do. Group A and C play each other. So FaZe, G2, Crude, G1. They're the teams in Group A who have to play against third and second in Group C. Yeah, they might want to give Gaming Gladiators a scrim, try and get them to be as good as possible so they can upset Team Secret or Ground Zero, or maybe even Liquid. What are their chances against Ground Zero? Because did they scrim them at all, CJ?
They have. Well, actually, I don't know. I know Elevate scrim OCE teams, but I don't know about Gaming Gladiators. Maybe not. I know that Elevate actually, interesting enough, didn't scrim Gaming Gladiators for the whole split.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, they were on the
What's
ban
going on there?
list.
Uh-huh.
Gaming,
no, I think
they
that's
were
cap.
late cancelling scrims or not showing up, and a
I'm
bit
pretty sure that's
unreliable
cap.
with the Gladiators.
They definitely have scrimmed, because I've been in a call with Vert after he finished. He was like, "Yeah, we scrimmed the Gaming Gladiators today." So I'm pretty sure they have scrimmed.
It might
Wait,
have been
did
a
they
long
become-
time ago. I know Kami
were they-
said like the other day that they didn't scrim them at all, or hadn't in the lead up. Maybe it was just to the third regional. I'm not sure, but they hadn't scrimmed them going into the regional. That's for sure. So it's interesting. They're but yeah, they should get some scrims. Like GC. Yeah, we scrimmed Detonator once at the Winter Major. It's a bit different when you're actually at the major and
Yeah.
compared to like 3 weeks out or 2 weeks out, when you're probably less likely to get scrims against top teams as an APAC team. But I'm sure there'll be teams like that are looking to, that are trying out like bubble teams, even though Rizzo said there are none, but they're probably trying out new people or just gaming, like play some 6-mans. I don't know.
Imagine
That's
they
be
just like
something
scrim V1, like they're like, right, let's give this whole Daniel thing a go, and they lose to Gaming Gladiators. They're like, no, actually, never mind. Space Station, you can have him. It's fine. we're just gonna keep Torment. Like the amount of open nets we just conceded, we didn't realize how much work Torment is doing for us. Like we're gonna keep him. Actually, Gaming could really they could pull some strings behind the
I mean,
scenes.
we'll probably give them we scrimmed them on we scrimmed Detonator on Queso when we were at LA. Like if you've got like, obviously if it's a choice between like FaZe and the APAC team, then you're gonna scrim FaZe. But like if they're asking and you've got like time, with nothing else to do, and it's just gonna be ranked, teams might as well scrim. Like it only helps, and you're not really doing anything else, so might as well.
It's like when we went to Sweden, we helped out this team called Queso that couldn't really make any majors and got absolutely shat on by Joyo for an hour. That's when I realized that this team was sick. And then
Yep.
Oh, that's when you dropped on the Joyo train? Because you got personally
when I was
dominated by him?
He was like
Yeah.
Magic Bear in scrims. Like, it was insane. And Joyo, unlike
You got
Magic
us a
Bear,
scrim team, I remember.
has followed it
Scrim
up.
you were. Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys were
they
scrim
were.
actors. Although actually, like the rumor, honestly, like one part of the reason why first regional back after the fall split, so winter split last season, first regional back, we as a team, I think it was Stumpy and I, or like the whole EU pre-show, we predicted Queso to win the event, and it was partly because we'd heard they'd been dominating scrims. It wasn't just like a shot in the dark. We did take that into account. So yeah, we got carried by CJ's stories, bigging up Team Queso and how good they were.
Yeah. There's only two players I've seen. It's him and Magic Bear. And I could talk about Magic Bear all day long. But if I see him just one time do what I've seen him do in scrims, he flip resets just automatic, but haven't been seeing them in game. Oh, the last regional he actually played pretty good.
He did.
Obviously AJ dominated as well, but that was good to see. Good to see. That's another topic. I know we sort of deviated off
Space Station for like an hour and a half.
Well, I was going to say, yeah. No, I was going to say we in terms of Chrome leaving, I was going to say potential teams that Chrome could coach. And I was saying like but it's just sort of a hairy topic because you don't want to I don't want to talk about other coaches getting replaced, but I think Chrome's a great candidate for some other teams in NA. That could.
Do all the teams have coaches in NA?
I think so.
I think nearly all of them do,
Yeah.
which is why it's a, you don't want to, because you don't know what coaches do, so you can't just be, Chrome's better than this person, because I don't really know what they do. So anyway, forget about that. Forget about that discussion. Move on.
I mean, I don't think you'd be crossing any lines to say something like that personally, because like that's the kind of thing we speculate with players, and coaches are in the same kind of conversation.
Could he go to
there's only
Optic?
one of them.
Let's say it then.
Optic, I mean, they've already got Raw Greg.
Whoa, CJ, whoa. Okay, now we got to find
no.
Rod Greg a new home. Where does he go?
No, Johnny, you're
Greg's
the
a
one
good
that laughed
coach.
at that. That wasn't me. I don't know what Greg does. That's what I'm saying.
Coach.
So I can't.
I don't know what any of these guys do.
Yeah, you don't know any of the coaches. But
That's a good topic for another day.
I'm just sitting on the sidelines.
Nothing,
Like,
Rizzo,
yeah.
realistically.
Yeah,
No, actually,
no.
CJ will know. CJ will know all about that because on your podcast, you talked to coaches last week. Just did coaches topics
Now,
right?
Yep, got Sathu and Jimmer in there just to dive into it. Obviously got Chrome, on the pod as well, and Jarzo, who used to just be a super coach back in the day. So it was a
Jarzo used to coach.
game.
yeah.
He used to coach Rizzo.
Yeah,
No?
he had all the strats. He was
Jarzo was
pioneering
Jarzo
play
was our
styles.
coach.
He reckoned
How
he founded
was
the
he?
G2 play style.
I mean, he was fantastic.
That's what he
We were
says?
dubbing.
Jarzo founded a
Fast
G2
pace.
playstyle?
So
Based on
actually,
no knowledge? I was joking.
You need TBates. You need to put Jazzo in your Christmas card list because actually he invented the playstyle that you are still enamored by to this day.
Yep.
What?
be
Passing the ball left to right, lots of offense, lots of excitement.
That's all Jazzo. So you
octane
actually
gameplay.
had that in the bullet points. Excitement. Like we need more excitement. This scrim. Want exciting plays.
I think he
players
also
they
wrote
delivered.
down "Get TBates a job" in one of his bullet points. I think I saw that on the
Mm.
upstairs whiteboard.
Imagine. Give this boy a job.
Acquire the
Jazzo's a
engine of the
goat.
machine. Yeah, okay. He left the bullet points.
He left the bullet points when
Yeah,
he
left the
hopped
bullet
out.
points. He left him the notepad.
Oh,
Didn't know what to do.
Nah, Chrome will get a job. Chrome won't be jobless for long.
No, he definitely won't. I think he has the.
He has too much cash, shame.
Yeah, he's got the resume there. But I think we're talking about we don't want to talk about people or coaches getting replaced or getting the boot, but we also didn't really talk about the person who was getting the boot in the first place with the whole rumor with Torment. Like, what are Torment's options here? Where do you think he could fit?
Yeah. That's a very interesting question.
Tommy.
I would love to see.
Reunite with Squishy and Gimmick.
Yeah, I would love to see this. There's a really great player in Team Axel called Gimmick, and NRG have been struggling. You maybe get Squishy. I feel like you would synergize pretty well with Gimmick from Team Axel and Torment from version 1.
Wrong.
I could see those three players doing well together.
I see them winning a world championship.
Nope, I can't.
Yeah.
At some point.
Nope.
Me neither, Bates, but
Nope. Some things need to be. Some books don't need to be reopened. I have there's a mystique about there's a fog, there's a mist, there's a level of aspiration, of dreams, of what that C9 team was and what they accomplished. We do not need to open that book again. That book is closed.
I like that, base.
That book is
I like
closed.
that.
They can't ever open that book again. It's gonna ruin everything. They're not gonna be as good. They're not gonna be as
like
good.
such free, even if they just like didn't even have any points. They're not playing for Worlds. If they came together for another split, can you imagine the views they would get on like videos, content, socials? Like they would pop off if they just mail in this split tournament. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to find another good team. And Squishy's like, oh well, things are going kind of bad with NRG. Let's just make a content team for one split and then pick it back up next season with a brand new, like, actual tryhard team. They could get so much money off of content, more than prize money. Branding genius. That's what they should do.
Yeah, and the Last
in the Dance vibes. This could be like, what's that name? The like LA Bulls or whatever they were when they like had a break because Michael Jackson's playing like Michael Jackson left the team and he was playing American football.
He purposely trolls. He purposely trolls.
Crazy, bro.
That's crazy. He's perfectly saying this stuff. He acts like he doesn't know what city the Bulls are from. He acts like he doesn't know what MJ is talking about. You are a troll.
I actually really enjoyed the Last Dance show on Netflix. It was really good. Yeah, I'm just messing around. I don't want to like derail this, but yeah, that could be a thing. The Last Dance, the Cloud9 Last Dance.
Yeah. I would like that if they didn't plan on playing anymore after.
Yeah, just one split. No.
Like they're done. Like they're not playing Rocket League after this. Like they're not gonna go try to find another.
But why are you so big on this? You talk about this all the time. Like this person needs to retire, that person needs to retire. Like why?
Tarnish their legacy because they stick around too long.
Well, actually, okay, but it's a good
Rizzo.
point. Hey, what's up? It's a really good point. Okay, wait. First off, no, that's a good point, but. Like, usually the justification is, hey, if they're secure in the bag, you got to think about the other side of the coin.
Steal.
Yeah,
don't need paychecks.
Plenty of people who paycheck steal.
Everyone needs a paycheck, bro.
It's like,
you don't need no paycheck.
You don't need paycheck. Like, there's no amount of money that he's going to be like, right, mission completed. I'm just going to retire from Rocket League now.
Squishy can retire right now.
Like,
I mean, he could, but like...
Yeah, he could, but I mean, that's not really what they're doing. It's not about, like, how much money you saved. It's about income for these people. They're trying to,
about the legacy, though. It's the legacy.
The legacy doesn't care about rent, TBates.
I don't.
He don't need Rocket League for rent. No, he don't need RCS for rent no more. He can upload two episodes to the end of time.
Listen, I have to completely disagree. I think that there's nothing wrong with a player playing into the twilight of their careers, just as many athletes have played into the twilight of their careers, and then produce, like, in comparison to the prime of their careers, very minuscule results. But still, for their age or for their stage of their career, it's impressive. I think we're too harsh on old players in esports who keep wanting to compete.
We're not harsh enough.
Nah, once you're done competing, you can't ever get that again.
TBates agrees.
I still disagree with both of you though, because I think you're never going to be able to replace that aspect of your life. Well, maybe it's possible. It's unlikely that you'll ever get that back.
I forgot about CJ.
It's okay.
We got two old men who had to retire. They both retired.
You see, CJ. You heard that. He forgot about you. So that means you need to come back, so people remember.
I forgot CJ played. CJ, you just retired like 2 months ago.
But my point is, if they're enjoying the process, if they enjoy scrimming, if they enjoy practicing, if they enjoy playing, if they enjoy competing, and there's nothing else that they would rather do, why retire? Just keep going.
I mean, obviously it's their choice, but look at Ronaldo, right? The Ronaldo Messi debate is over now.
He's getting the bag.
That's been over. It's been over.
No, it wasn't been over.
It wasn't over. It was over when he went to Saudi Arabia and Messi won the World Cup. That's what ended it.
Well, yeah, that was
2 years ago. Then people would be like, "Oh, well, Ronaldo still could have won the World Cup." Ronaldo killed the debate. And Violent Panda, for example, stuck around for years after he was done. Years.
Turbo
still stuck around.
We talked about this, Rizzo. What does Turbo have to do? I don't know if he's got a better option or if he's got something he'd rather do than be a pro player.
He had a better option in a minute.
Rizzo was like, I've got my content I want to make. Or CJ's like, I could do this casting thing. They had another thing that was pulling them more than pro play. That's why they did it. Yeah, he would still be playing if he didn't have casting. Rizzo would still be playing if he didn't have content.
I'd still be qualifying.
Yeah, they'd still be dominating, but like
mean,
if you don't
yeah,
have something else that's
yeah, we
pulling
know
you
you're
away from
Regis
pro
free.
play, why leave? You can't
Exactly.
like if it's like fun, if you're enjoying the process, like
I
being a
think
pro,
with
even if
Turbo
you're
it's
not winning.
different because I think Turbo had still has like everything. Like if Turbo wanted to make a YouTube or stream, he could easily. Like I think that was his choice. It's not like he was forced to keep doing it. You know?
Oh yeah, no, some of these players they could make content and be super successful. Turbo is like a great example, but clearly he doesn't enjoy that enough.
It's like Nico
to do
Rosberg
it.
in F1. Like no one's
Yeah.
no one's gonna know like how good he could have got to because he won the world championship and dipped straight away. And there's a class to that, you know. There's like a
Well,
classiness
like
to that.
he also like so he'd achieved a goal. So Nico Rosberg, for anyone who's not familiar with him, he won one world championship in Formula One, and then he retired immediately because for him that was his goal that he wanted. Beyond that, he didn't have any other reason to keep competing because the lifestyle he had to live to get to that level was not a life he wanted to keep repeating year on year on year. He's like, I'm just going to retire there, and now I can go spend time with my family and spend time with my friends, spend my money I've got. You know, he just wanted to enjoy life. So like, there's something pulling him away from a professional career as an F1 driver, just like lots of pro players who retired. There's something pulling them away from it. In like the case of Turbo, or like some people are bringing up Solary in chat. Like I don't know, they seem to like competing, and Solary are actually qualifying for regionals. Like I don't even know why anyone's mentioning Solary.
Still
Like,
making the money.
they're still making money there. So
I mean, yeah, it's good for them to make money, but I mean, I think what me and Raj are saying is that you're just not gonna be. You're not gonna be at the top. You're at the top for long. It's like your legacy. It's like your legacy, what you're leaving. And like
Yeah, it's
some
just
people
like-
some people argue that it doesn't mean anything. It's just for people like me and Raj and us to just talk about.
No, some people do. Some people care about
like
it.
makes sense. Like if it's in terms of a monetary value aspect of it, if you could keep making money off the game and you don't have any other options, keep making money off the game.
That
But
sounds so negative, though. I feel like there's so many players who just enjoy competing and enjoy the process of improving, and they want to
But
get
it's to
better.
the point where you're not even competing.
a lot of
anymore,
players
right?
ain't
It's just
competing
stealing
anymore
money.
at that level.
Like, for example, Violent Panda and Heroic wasn't even making main events. You're not competing. Like
I mean, they're still competing
They're
in
still a part of the
qualifiers. It's not
process.
competing in the final, but they're competing in qualifiers. They're playing scrims. They're
It's
practicing.
not
they're
the
improving.
same. It's not the same.
I mean,
we get it,
it's
TBates.
not the
We
same,
have
but
different opinions.
I shouldn't have to explain how that's very similar, though. It's still
It's
the
not.
same
I get
process.
it. I do get it.
You're just not succeeding to the same level, but you're playing into the twilight of your
Well, then-
career. Get to play like competition a little bit more, and if you're enjoying that qualifier as much as you used to enjoy like winning a world championship, then I can't hate that. I don't blame them for sticking around.
That's mind blowing of that. They somehow enjoyed playing in a qualifier.
Like what's
they
the
did winning world
difference?
championship.
What's the difference between a player who is like good and great going and playing in like qualifiers and stuff compared to like bubble players who are playing in qualifiers? Like, are you thinking
Yeah.
the
Well,
same
the
thing?
difference is I'm a former world champion. I played the
Bro, you
highest
got the
level of
hunger,
this
bro.
game. I used to be the truth, and now I'm playing with a whole bunch of dudes who ain't going nowhere. I need to quit because it's embarrassing to me. I
Okay.
shouldn't be in here no
Bro,
more.
Why do athletes do this though? Why do athletes keep on competing even past their prime then? Ever? Surely they should all retire in their prime based on your logic, right?
Not in their
Because
prime.
after your prime, you're
Didn't
like
Vince
never going
Carter
to be
play
at the
till he
same
was
level
like
again.
76? How long did Vince Carter play T-Bates? No, he's like 44,
Vince
right?
Carter played till he's like 42 or something like that.
42.
But VC, that was the thing. Vince Carter should have retired 5 years before that. He kept playing. You know why? Okay, he wanted to keep making money, which I understand. But that messed with his legacy. It did.
Yeah,
It
but they
messed
also
with
love the
no,
game. Who cares
no, it
about the
didn't.
legacy? Who cares? Like,
I care.
I've got a very
I got
recent.
one more in me.
I've got a very recent example. So, like, Scotland, where I'm from, is not known for like having many super successful athletes or super successful esports people in general. But probably, like, arguably the most successful athlete is Andy Murray, who plays tennis, and he's like maybe a top 10 player all time, probably top 15. And he has had 3 major surgeries, including one which is basically like a hip replacement to put a metal hip in place of his actual hip because his real hip wasn't working. And now he's still back playing with a metal hip at age like 36 or 35. I can't remember.
That's insanity.
And he's not. He used to be world number 1. He used to be like he used to be like one of the best in the world. And now he's like
He won Wimbledon,
breaking
right?
into top 50. Yeah, he won Wimbledon twice. He won like 20 or so major titles, Olympics twice. So he's a guy who's done it all. He's like one of the greatest of all time. And why doesn't he? Well, I'm telling you, you think he needs to quit? I'll tell you why he doesn't. It's because he loves competing.
Okay, and
that's why he doesn't quit.
Now I'm about to get I'm gonna get a little more serious because this expands past just Rock League. Okay, you said you brought in this Andy Murray dude, great player. He's winning Wimbledon and stuff. So I mean, great. I mean, that's the peak. Now I'm about to get a little bit serious. It's a little more serious because this a life thing. It's a life thing. When you're really good at something, and all y'all can speak of this. Cause every single person in this chat is exceptional at something, or has been exceptional at something, or still is exceptional at something. When you're really, especially in terms of competition, it's like a drug, basically. It's like a drug, basically, to where like you get so addicted. Like in the Rock League process, especially coming World Championship, y'all know how much grind that takes. Y'all know how much dedication, commitment, poise, everything. You're putting everything into that. That at some point, somebody's got to be real with you and say, you ain't him no more. Because unless you don't drag him out of there, he ain't leaving. So like you think about in the football context, Tom Patrick, I forgot his other name, Brady. Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Loves football. Tom Brady could compete right now this year in football. Somebody finally got in Tom Brady's ear and said, Tom, you can't be the same dude. And he finally listened. Because he would have kept going. He would have kept playing till he's 50. And his dad is talking about that. And when Turbo will compete, will stay competing in this game. Kata will stay competing in this game. And unless you pull them away, because they see they've been at that pinnacle, and that's fun. You gotta know, like, there's chapters in your life. Turbo's chapter of being a golden Rocket League's over. That book is closed.
TBates, so
now it's time to go somewhere else.
Stop for a second though, because you're just like passing by this as if it's like something that we should all agree on. I don't agree that should be the moment that you stop playing when you're not like at the top anymore. You think that legacy is like up here and the earnings and your own enjoyment of like what you're doing is down here. You think legacy is more important than what you enjoy day to day while you wake up in the morning and like want to go and practice or do whatever it is you're doing. Like I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that many competitors in sports, esports keep going because they like the process. They don't care about their legacy so much as they just enjoy competing. And that's what they care about. They just want to keep competing. And the way I see certain people celebrating, I talked about Andy Murray earlier, like this year, he's had some very close wins against unranked players. And the way I've seen him celebrate those wins is like more intensely than when he's actually like world number one winning Grand Slams in tennis. Because like for him, it's like the fact that he's pushed himself to his current like limit and achieved something currently that is great, which, you know, in the Rocket League context, yeah, it's not as physical. So we have a hard time like looking at the achievement of like Turbo making a main event like top 16 and seeing that as impressive. Whereas we should give them more credit for that. We should, if Turbo makes a main event next split, we should be saying, well done, Turbo.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
congratulations. But I think somebody...
No, it's not. It's not
that's patting him on the back,
whatever.
though. That's patting him on the back.
Pat on the back. That should be like,
patting him on the back because that's a former world champ.
No,
that's
it's
a
the
former
longevity
world
of his
champ.
career,
That's
though.
one of the best in the game ever. I'm not patting him on the back for making a regional. If I was Turbo's friend, I would be a Turbo. Just say, Turbo, it's time for you to go find something else.
No, you should.
Because it's bigger than Rocket League. It's bigger than Rocket League now.
Horrible friend,
no, I'm a real friend.
Terrible friend. You should tell him.
It depends.
You should, first of all, before you tell him anything, you should ask him, Turbo, what are you feeling? What are you feeling like? What do you want to do? Like, what motivates you right now?
I would ask him that, and then I was. No, I would ask him, but I'll be honest with you. I don't have.
Before asking.
I would be. Listen, I would say if you want to keep competing, keep competing. But you gotta realize at some point you gotta find whatever it is that's gonna be your next part of your life.
But would you not?
Rocket League is gonna be a small part of his life. How old is Turbo? Like 24? He's got so much more life left. It's time to move on.
TBates, 1 second. So would you not ask Turbo, I want to know what matters more to you, legacy or like what motivates you day to day competing? What motivates you? Income? Like what is your main goal here? And if he says legacy doesn't matter to me, you should say then, oh well, then yeah, keep competing. Like, but if he says legacy is number one, it's the only thing I would say
keep competing for the monetary gain, and he's gonna keep loving competing. That's what he loves to do. But at some point, the love can only bring you so far. Why would you keep waiting? No, there's no some point. Why would you
You're projecting yourself, TBates, on him. You're saying because I think like this, at some point he has to agree with me.
No. That's what the real world works.
Forever.
Because no, he can't. Because right now, Turbo. Well, he's not on anything right now. For example, Turbo has been riding the little wave that's continuously been shrinking. The wave's getting smaller as he's been approaching the beach. He keep taking more money when in reality he could have been perfecting another skill, building another brand, so that when he finally hits the beach, he could be doing something else. But then there's other people who keep
Okay.
I
get what you're saying.
If I was Turbo's friend, I would say ni hao because it's time to learn Chinese, my friend. It's done. It's done, bro.
Stop doing
It's
that.
over.
No.
It depends. Like, it's just like someone. It could
What
just
does
be
he
someone's
want?
job. Like, it's simple as that. It's not.
Well,
any,
no.
it's not always
It's not
about
as simple
legacy.
as that. No. Can I talk to you? I got bigger than legacy. What I'm saying is, and Johnny's right. I shouldn't just walk up and say you need to quit. That's messed up. But
That's a terrible friend.
if I was
Terrible
actually his friend, and I was actually like thinking rationally about this, I'd be like, I still support you competing and everything else in between, but you got to start seeing that the light at the end of the tunnel is getting closer. It's time to start developing something else, so that when you finally reach the end of that tunnel, then you can go and transition to something else.
I think,
And I don't think people are talking about that enough. I think they're saying keep playing, you enjoy competing, and that's great. You can keep doing that, but you still have to go find, or you need to at least try to attempt to find something else that you can do after that tunnel. After you end up getting out of the tunnel, and if we just keep allowing these great players, and this goes for anything,
So you think they should be banned as soon as you
no,
win all the
I don't think they should be banned, but I think they just need to have people in their corner. They're saying, okay, like for Turbo, for example, Turbo be great on the desk. Turbo be great. I mean, he'd have to reform himself a little bit, stop cursing as much and stuff like that. But like, if like taking more time on like Johnny's streams and stuff like that, just to talk and over that past year, get that show signings he could talk. Then after that, he would be able to transition right to the desk, and then that would be a career for him.
On this point, I think I understand both sides. Like, I understand the side of like the Andy Murray side where it's like you just kind of keep doing what you're doing because
what he's doing right now is
I get that.
inspirational. It's very inspirational what he's doing right now, even though he's not winning, and he probably never will win again.
At the end of the day, all that matters is like what you want to do, right? Like at the end of the day, like in this call, there's two different opinions. I understand both, and I understand where you're coming from, TBates, but like I also understand where they're coming from, where it's if you still want to play, you're not gonna stop playing, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Like
I think
it is what you want to do.
I think the way
And it depends on the person.
The way Bates explained it, like that last sentence you made, is what made sense to me. Like, I think you are being, like, if in this situation, whatever, hypothetical, you are being a good friend if you're trying to prepare them for the next step in their life. Like, people have to realize that one, esports doesn't last forever. Rocket League's not going to last forever, and that's being a good friend. You know, trying to get them to go to the next step. But what you said earlier, when you were like, Turbo, it's time to quit. You're done.
Yeah,
you're done. Get out of here. Go away.
Very different things.
You gave two different
preparing
points.
somebody for the next
first one
step
was not
and
good.
like saying
The second one was
retire
good.
now. Yeah, I totally agree with that, Rizzo. Because like it's different to come up to someone and say you got to retire right now. Like you're saying, Squishy, you got to retire. Like why though?
Johnny.
Like I feel like he's doing fine. Like you talk about Squishy needs to retire. Like I think because he's doing. I think being a pro is part of his brand, and it elevates his like probably his YouTube views, his Twitch views, his like Twitter follows. I don't know what else. Like it elevates his brand to be a pro. So the longer you can be a pro, regardless of like how badly his team's doing, they're not even doing that badly. They're at like 7th or something in NA. Like why retire? Like it's a great business decision to keep playing and being a pro. Because he could keep playing,
definitely.
even if he's like 20th best team in NA. You think his YouTube viewers are going to know that? No, they're not going to have a clue. They're still going to think he's number one. Like, they have no idea. So like, as long as he's still a pro and he uploads like team comms, then people will still like watch his videos.
Squishy,
like,
Squishy should play till he's 40.
But yeah, just keep playing. It's all about what you enjoy. But yeah, I do agree with you saying you should talk about other things you should be doing. Because the reason I agree with that is no one should just be a Rocket League pro player. You should always do something else as well. Whether that's content or, trying to establish like future connections for coaching, management, whatever it is that you enjoy, or just learning, going studying in school, going to further education. Like, yeah, no one should dedicate themselves fully to being a Rocket League pro because you don't need to. There's more time in the day. You don't have to give up everything, social life, education, other like ventures to be a Rocket League pro. You just don't. So I agree with that. That doesn't mean someone has to retire though. I think that's a big step. It's not necessary.
So, okay. So to conclude, so I just want to So if Turbo wasn't getting paid dark zero money and we were just making like 1,000 a month and just competing.
What if he's making 0? Let's talk about 0.
If he's
Competing
making,
on the
if
non-arc team.
making 0, I think at that point he would need to talk. I think that's a deeper thing. That's a psychological thing. Somebody needs that's a psychological, that's a mental thing. I mean, a therapist perhaps. I don't know.
I mean, but what, TBates, is it beyond you to think? Is it beyond your comprehension to imagine that maybe he likes playing the
Jesus
game
Christ.
competitively?
I mean,
would
you can like playing
speculate.
the game competitively. That's great, bro.
therapist.
But at that point, if you go from being at the creme de la creme of something and then you're making absolutely nothing, that's like it becomes like, and I don't think he would ever compete for 0. It becomes like the for my NBA fans, the Delonte West situation, where like you go from being an NBA player
Okay,
and then
bro.
now you're on the side of the road and you don't have anything else.
Okay,
Like,
This
yeah,
is like,
no,
sounds
I can just
extreme.
imagine.
Delonte West turned into a crackhead, by the way. So this is like the worst
Yeah,
example.
that sounds extreme. I knew that was a terrible analogy.
that was an extreme example.
But yeah, no, I think-
maybe like NBA to like G League. Like say
I
you're
can
like
just
Steph
imagine
Curry,
teammates.
and you're like Steph Curry, and then all of a sudden you're in the G League. Like no, at some point
Okay,
you gotta
so,
realize you're like
Bates,
that's a waste of
Bates.
time. What's up?
You love like doing first touch, right?
I sure do.
So if you got relegated to a smaller podcast, like
What
let's
if
say,
our,
out.
what if our LCS were like, we're
Chalked.
not running the podcast
Um,
anymore, like on the channel, you're off the channel, we don't pay you for that anymore.
and you
You're
have to
on Chalkcast.
come on chalked, like
It's
you
debatable,
quitting?
smaller, sideways move. Keon.
Yes. If I had to come on the chalk without the contract, without
No
talking,
contract.
Yeah, because you guys started doing first touch
Yeah,
for
Bates,
no
Bates,
contract
I
for
want you
free.
to know-
Then
I
you
want
went
you
to
to
the
know-
pinnacle, and now you're coming back to
Bates,
us.
I want you to know, Shotcast, how we do it over here, we do it for the love of the game. We do it for the love of the podcasting world. So if you're not about that, T-Bates, you can't take any of our spots.
In fact, we've spent all the money we've made. We spent it all on
We spent-
We are minus money
we're
right now.
actually net
Please
negative
let me
on
show.
Shotcast.
negative money. We spent all the money we made and more on sponsoring James Juice for the major for the memes. And if you're not on board with that,
We're still
if you're
trying to
not
build
on
back.
this
What we got out of
We're
it.
still
I
trying to
don't know
build
what
back.
we got out of it. What did we get out of it? But I'm not.
I mean, if that were to happen, and then I would only keep doing podcasts if I was still on ROCS, like on the desk. If I wasn't on the desk, like I would do a lot of podcasts. If I wasn't on the desk, I'm gone. Like I'd hop on, I'm big on legacy, so I'm big on legacy. So
I get
people
it,
gonna remember
because
me as the
there is
loudmouth,
no way you
as
want
the
people to
loudmouth.
think about
But
you
Bates,
as
but
like
the thing is, Johnny,
It's only
Bates
no
is in
way.
like you're in law school, right?
Oh yeah, also I have a whole different thing I could do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
you have another
you
option
have a
that's
completely
right there.
different avenue. A lot of people like don't have like this comes back to the argument about like Rocket League pros leaving school and stuff. This is if you leave high school without completing high school or secondary school, whatever you want to call it, this is you. Like this, like you can obviously go and work afterwards and stuff, but if you don't finish school, like this is what you're doing,
Mhm.
and
It's
that's
so
it.
not
So
so unnecessary as well. You don't have to do that to be a Rocket League pro. You can stay in school,
exactly.
still be a Rocket
So
League pro.
it comes back to that argument.
I just think you just ignore like the love of the game. I can imagine like let's say like there's an NBA coach that's won NBA finals, and all of a sudden they're coaching their son in the under sixes, and you just walk past. Look at you, pathetic. Look at this fall from grace. Like they're not just doing it out of the love of the game.
If he's
Honor
coaching
this
his
guy,
son,
you
it's
shameful
different.
man.
If he's
This
coaching
is
his son, it's
pathetic.
different, CJ. He's
Well,
coaching
even
his
if it's not
baby
their
boy.
son, they're just coaching like some juniors, just for
No,
fun.
not even the son. A lot of people like go into coaching like in a Sunday league, like local
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, I mean, they
because
can
they're
do
just
that.
like because they want to give back to the community and because they enjoy coaching or they enjoy playing. Like a lot of people.
Isn't
like,
that the
after they
same
retire,
as
they
a
keep
player just
playing.
jumping back and playing? Like, and players do this. I don't know.
No.
Clearly, maybe not in basketball, but in other sports, they'll go back
Yeah.
and play with their local team that they used to play with, just for the
I
fun
mean-
of the game, the love of the game.
I mean, that's different though.
The
That's
thing is, in
different for the fun of the
traditional
game
sport,
and still trying to
If
compete.
you,
Go ahead,
if
Rice.
you imagine like okay, Steve Kerr is the
Warriors
Warriors
coach?
coach. Yeah, he wins. Let's say he wins the NBA. If he goes and coaches if he gets sacked or whatever, and he goes and coaches his son's junior league team, he's made enough money to last forever, But if for a Rocket League pro, I get it because we probably haven't made the money to just live forever, like with never work a day in our life again.
Yeah.
So I get it because
they need
here's
something else. Yeah.
as soon as you do that, like if you win the NBA as a coach, like you're chilling, you're never working, you're just living out the rest of your days. You can do what you want. So I kind of get there's a difference.
I don't know. Maybe we should ask. Like, I feel like jumping to the conclusion though about someone and saying that legacy is greater than everything. Therefore, any player who's previously a world champion who's now not able to qualify for majors should retire. That's like not. It's not a.
Where the heck did you get that from?
Sweeping generalization.
That was a crazy generalization. Listen, I'm letting you get away with this.
I'm noticing a pattern with all the people you should say should retire. They're all kind of like in the same category of players, you know, or previous world champion. Now they're struggling on a team, or they're struggling to qualify for regionals. Like, I don't know. Maybe they just like playing. Maybe they like playing Rocket League competitively.
No, maybe they just like collecting checks.
Maybe that too, which is also fine.
They like collecting checks. That's why it's gonna be very curious to see if Turbo don't get the Dark Zero contract. What he's about to do. Now I'm very curious. I'm very curious. See, K-Dub, I know what K-Dub gonna do. The moment Solar don't want to pay K-Dub no more, K-Dub gonna keep streaming. Like, all right, like K-Dub.
Once Violent Panda's heroic contract ran out, bro was getting on the stage on his knee. He was not getting on that stage ever again.
Relax, bro. That was a great proposal. That was nice. VP doing well. He doing something. I forgot what he was doing. Working somewhere.
But yeah, as soon as the money runs out, it's done. Like, because you're not at that point. It's get a job. You know, at that point, it's
I don't think that affects. I'm just saying, I don't think that takes anything away from what they've done. I think the legacy thing is like silly because it can only add to the legacy. There's nothing they can do. No amount of losses that can take away from previous wins.
No, Turbo's legacy has definitely Turbo's legacy is definitely going down because it only proves that I'll explain to you why, Johnny. Because it only proves what people like me were saying when everybody was calling me a hater that he was never that guy. That's all it proves.
Not the case, though. It doesn't prove that.
It does go down. I agree. I think seeing but imagine, right, me as a pro coming up, I was like idolizing Squishy. Like I'd watch every Squishy video, copy his camera settings, copy his car designs. Like for me as like a fan, if I was like a bubble player coming up now and I beat them, like I see them in a bubble tournament and I beat them, I'm like, this guy is like, what? Why did I idolize this guy?
But that's because you're a competitor, so like you're thinking differently.
When someone's at the peak of their game, like 4-time, and then you like fall off and you just retire, you'll forever see them as like the guy like up there that you look up to. Like no matter how high up you get,
I can see
you're always
that.
gonna like idolize them, you know. But once your idols fall, that's why they say never meet your idols because they're not what you like think about, you know.
I don't think that's what that means exactly.
Turbo
that's not what that means, but it's like a similar thing, you know.
But Turbo
you see your
now,
idol, like in a true light, and then you're like, well, GG.
I still think he's still gonna be like, you know, the GOAT or in the GOAT conversation for forever. But you got to say like the aura of Turbo is no longer like the same.
Well, it doesn't currently exist. Now I'm not trying to pretend like that his legacy is like aura of indestructibility is still currently in existence. It's not. It's gone. Maybe it'll come back. Probably not, but it's currently gone. But I'm just saying, no amount of losses, he could lose qualifiers from now till the end of his life, and it would not affect what he's done. The wins are wins, no matter how many losses you take after that.
You can't take away the chips. The chips there. They'll always remain.
That's his legacy. His legacy is the wins. And no amount of losses after this will subtract from those wins. The wins are untouchable. What he's done, untouchable.
Bates.
I think in Rai's situation, beating the people he previously thought were untouchable makes sense because he's a competitor and it's his job to think that he's better than everyone. So like he's doing his job well if he thinks, yeah, this guy's trash. Why did I idolize him? That's a great way to think about it because now the next time he plays him, he's going to be like, oh yeah, it's this trash guy I used to idolize. You probably beat him again. But like for the rest of us who are not actually playing and competing against these players, legacy's untouchable. No amount of losses will take away from what Turbo's done.
Bates, weren't you?
In my opinion.
Weren't you also somebody who said like nobody remembers the grand finalists, nobody remembers second place?
Yeah, unless you're like a Rocket League nerd like Johnnyboi, then you're not hit
me with it.
If nobody,
any second place, I'll tell you right now.
If nobody remembers the grand finalists, nobody remembers the second place. Why would it like matter in this situation where
Well,
somebody's losing.
for Turbo specifically, because I can already tell. I ain't been looking at chat, but I already can tell people are gonna bring up Michael Jordan and the Wizards. I already know. 'Cause I know what people think. So Turbo. For if people are gonna call me a hater, I always knew that Turbo was never the best on any of those teams, but he was winning. So no matter what I told people before I got on the mic, because people don't know, I've been in the trenches. I've been talking up a stone in Rockley for a minute now. This didn't just happen. That didn't just happen. I've been working. You gotta go talk to Riddles and them boys. They'll tell you what base used to be cooking. I always said Turbo wasn't the best in those teams, but they say he's the GOAT. Cause when I said okay, we gonna see what he do when he's on Envy. He had two of the best players in the A, and he couldn't get it done. Then after that, he played with Optics, still had missed on his team, couldn't get it done. And like every single time, it only proved more and more that he really was not that guy. He was a great player, but he was never the best when he played with Atomic and missed. He was never the best when he played for Optic, and he was also never the best back then, but he was winning at the time, so you couldn't tell him nothing. So I think that hurts like his legacy at the end of the day, in my eyes. I value that, but some people they aren't gonna value it.
He was up there.
But
He was like
easily
one of the best.
Like you're saying he wasn't the best. Maybe he wasn't the best on the team, right? But you're playing in a completely different era at the same time. So when you say like, oh yeah, he wasn't as good 5 years down the line, that's like saying when I went to
5 years.
Bro,
it literally is 5 years,
years.
since season 3. Season 3, 4, 5, and 8, he won World
So
Championship.
OCS was 2020. That was a year later. That was
when he won. When he won, bro.
Like now, or
the first one. He was never the best even in the beginning. K-Dot was better than him.
Right, I'm still with
but
you.
it's like marginal though. It was like marginal. You're talking about
Devo was significantly better than Turbo.
No, Devo was significantly better.
K-Dot was better. Yep, exactly. And then K-Dot was better. K-Dot was better. K-Dot was better.
Marginal.
And then after that, Justin and Garrett were better. And then after
like listen, Garrett's in chat right now, but I'll be the first to say that he was shaky. He's a little bit quaky in that grand final. Turbo definitely stepped up and he did his thing. Like Garrett will be the first to tell you, I'm sure.
That's because Garrett's a great team player.
Turbo, they couldn't win a LAN. They got Turbo. They're winning multiple LANs. But is he that bad that he's getting carried to LANs by a team who couldn't win LANs without him? What are you talking about? Turbo is easily one of the best in the world.
Hear me out. Well,
go ahead, Rizzo.
What I'm saying is, like, sure, maybe K-Dop was marginally better or so much better than Turbo or whatever. But he won 4 times. But the thing is comparing it now or like what he was back then to like a completely different era. Like I said, like. You're talking about how he was on Optic, you said, comparing to when he was on like Gale Force. Like it's a completely different league in that whole regard.
Okay, I know it's a different league, but I'm saying he's still he's just a great role.
But what you're saying is like, oh, he was never the greatest. He was never the best. Let's wait and see. Come on, let's wait and see. And then 4 years, whatever.
To me, it didn't change.
I was right.
Oh, yeah, to me, it never changed. The league
for
never
other
changed, people, it's changed. No, for me, I never had Turbo to go because he was never the best. He was always a great player. No, Justin and Garrett do not win their world championship without him. That's like saying Steph Curry can't win in the NBA without Draymond Green. That's facts. Draymond Green helps the Warriors win exponentially. You need other great all-star players. That's what Turbo is, an all-star player. And you need those players. You need those players to win. But for me, I always knew he wasn't GOAT. I always knew Devo was better, K-Dot better, Garrett better, Justin better. But I knew Garrett and Justin don't win without Turbo. But other people were all saying, he's got 4 chips, he's the GOAT. Nobody can contest that. But now, since he kept playing, now more people are coming over to the bait side of things.
No one thinks like that. No one thinks like that.
You have to remember, the season before Turbo went to NA is the one where he didn't make Worlds in the EU.
Yeah.
He was on the dig team with no one to enable, and it flopped.
Panda Astral, right? Or Panda Yukio?
No, it was Panda Yukio. Yeah. And then he got replaced by Astral. But
actually, he left. He left the team. He's like, I'm sick of this, and he left.
Yeah.
They were. I think if I recall, what happened is he said it's I'm make me GM or I'm leaving, and they were like, okay, bye then. And they mutually were like, this isn't working. I'm out. He wanted to go.
Wait, I think.
Yeah, I don't think the narrative changes.
I think Garrett also has a good point. Like, even if he retired after he said he could have retired after season 8, and people would still be saying that stuff now. Like you said you were.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the only person.
You're saying you were a hater. You're
That's
like this guy was never the best.
How would be the only
person? TBates, you started watching RLCS in season 6 or 5 or something.
I started watching RLCS in season 3. Thank you.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like where you talk about like the EU domination is probably like blurred out from your memory at this point. Like season 3, 4. Do you remember anything from those grand finals?
Season 4, I remember. I remember a team called Dignitas absolutely wipe a team called what was the name?
It was Gale Force Esports actually.
Gale Force, or whatever. A team called Gale Force wipe whatever team a lot was on. That was like a 4-1 stopping method. I think it was 4-1 absolute domination. It was really boring.
4-0 actually.
It was really boring. I didn't like watching that. That annoyed me how Cloud9 choked against them. Yeah, season 3. I mean, I don't need to talk about Devo. I mean, everybody remembers that. That was
I just think like listen, they were not like Northern Gaming with Maestro were like they were great online, but like for Turbo to just step in and win a LAN with him like as a sub is insane.
He had the best player in the world by far.
The crazy thing though is how you have this narrative about the best teams or the recipe for success is 2 superstars and that like you talk about how important that third guy is, except when it's Turbo. Well, no, you said
Turbo's great. I took that in. I took that in the account with the NRG.
Well, no, you're sort of completely disrespecting Turbo in general, like just because of what's happened afterwards.
No. I told you. I said my opinion doesn't change. I always knew he was. I always knew he wasn't the GOAT. Because to be the GOAT, you gotta be the best.
But this wasn't a GOAT conversation.
The only reason he's not the GOAT is because K-Dop did most of what he did with him, and then also did a little bit more without Turbo in his team. Like he won 3 other LANs, but like
that's why he's better. He's just a better player.
Yeah, he is better, but like Turbo's still number 2. He's closer to K-Dop than he is to anyone else. Like it's
Okay,
Turbo,
who's your
K-Dop, Turbo,
top 5?
everyone else is way down, like off the screen.
Bates, go top 5.
Go top 5? I ain't thought about that. I just know K-Dop won. After that, I don't know who's next. I'll be honest. I don't know who's next.
I know. You've gone on record saying Garrett and Justin next, actually. I know this.
I have Garrett and Justin? Good. Put them up there then. 2, 3. They're there anyway.
Would you put Monkey Moon above Turbo?
Monkey Moon is an interesting case. Monkey Moon's got to be up there somewhere. I don't know where yet, though.
Above Turbo, though?
Monkey Moon's like top 8 all time. Top 8.
See, I'm not gonna put Monkey Moon above Turbo just yet. I'm not gonna put him up there just yet. But he's close. He's getting close. He's getting close.
Do you have Atomic over Turbo?
Probably.
Listen, if Atomic won the last world championship and he kept winning a couple more lands, hey, he'd be getting close. I'll tell you that much. I need Mossy to clutch up, but he didn't do it. No, Mossy's not above Turbo. Turbo's like 4 or 5 somewhere in there. 4 or 5, 3, somewhere around there. Somewhere around that area. But Turbo's gonna keep moving down though. That's all I gotta say.
No, if other people keep winning, sure. Okay, one final question I've got on this topic for TBates is like you think of Dignitas, I guess, and Gale Force Esports as K-Dop the carry apparently, and then Turbo and Panda are like terrible. I view them much more as like a Team Liquid, where it's hard to point out who the good player is because every day it changes. Like Dignitas Gale Force, it was like changing all the time. I think overall K-Dop was the best. But then I'd put Turbo number 2, Panda number 3, but they were all super, super close. I don't think it was a big difference. I'm only ranking them like kind of as a challenge to myself to pick who the best player was. I think they were super close, very, very equally contributing to all the success.
I think it was K-Dop best. Then after that, it'd be Panda or Turbo. Some days it'd be Turbo, some days it'd be Panda. But I think K-Dop was better than both of them.
Well,
I don't know. I think it was close though. They were like some days Turbo would
You're being a bit of a hindsight Harry though, base. Yeah, like when you played that team back in the day, you were never like, oh, like what's K-Dop gonna do? Like it was the whole team. Like it
was a team unit.
Yeah.
It was a team unit.
Garrett G, who's one of their biggest rivals at the time, says it was insanely on the day who was the best in the team, in my opinion. Panda was the best in the team in Season 5 Grand Final, easily for him. He was peaking on NRG in the Grand Final. I totally agree with Garrett. I think any given day you could roll a dice and that would be the best player. Like it wasn't obvious. It's not like Daniel's going to be the best for Space Station every series they play. Beast Mode's going to be the best for V1. First Killer's going to be the best for FaZe. It was a team that you don't know. There was no clear best player. Any given day, Turbo could be the best player.
I think there were days. I think Kato was the best player, and I think there are days where Turbo could be the best player.
No, a lot of days though is the thing I'm saying. A lot of days.
Best player. I think K-Dub was the best player on the squad.
Yeah, K-Dub was the best player like maybe 40% of the days. Turbo like 33% of the days. Panda.
I say Panda was more. I say Panda more than Turbo. Panda more than Turbo.
You think Panda more than Turbo?
Did you watch season 6 at all? Like, Panda was trolling season 6. So
I think I think for me, it was like K-Dop. I barely watched. I don't think I had watched RLCS at this point. I think I've watched it since, of course. And from the player, like to me, it's like K-Dop still plays. Yeah, he's not at the top, but he still makes every regional.
Yeah.
Turbo, does he still play?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think it's clear that
he's in
K-Dop
qualifiers.
he's
K-Dop's had the
stood
most
the test.
longevity.
He stood the test of time better than the other two,
Better than
which
Turbo
makes me think
that he was always better.
he was, I don't know, always better, but he was better.
He was always better.
I mean, that's just like, bro, it's been so many years. That's just like an adaptability thing.
Yeah, correlation does not equal causation, though.
Yeah,
Bates. Like, just because a player is better now does not mean they were better 5 years ago. Like, that is a
Yeah,
crazy
you're-
thing to
you're
say in a
saying-
game like
no,
Rocket
I
League.
said he was always better.
Insane. Yeah,
I
but
didn't say this guy is better now.
that's a crazy thing to just say because he's better now. He's always been better. That's insane. Rocket League, the better player changes
that's
every
what
6
Rise
months.
is saying. No, that's right. Rise is saying that he.
You're mixing our points. My point is, I don't like have a clear person that I'm gonna say. Like Bates is very firm on the fact that Cooks was the best. Cooks, I read chat that K-Dop was the best. He's very firm on that. I didn't watch enough. Like I never watched the game back then. My first RLCS series I watched was Season 6 Finals. What I'm saying is the one that stood the test of time, the best, is K-Dop. And for me, that's like a big factor because longevity in the GOAT debate is very
matters.
Very big point.
It does matter in the GOAT debate, but it doesn't matter in terms of legacy, though. Like if you've won
the
World
GOAT debate is
Championships,
the
you've won
legacy,
them.
bro.
GOAT is legacy
in this case.
I don't know, like Turbo, like all of what he's done, just because he keeps playing and loses doesn't take away from what he's done. He doesn't subtract like GOAT debate points.
No,
the
but
points are there no matter what.
It adds.
If he won, if K-Dop wins something now, it adds something to him. But like
he did. He won
Turbo
RLCS
is
X.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like K-Dop has, I think K-Dop is my personal GOAT. Turbo number 2. They're close, but K-Dop wins. But like you guys talk about it like Turbo needs to retire because he's losing points in the GOAT debate. No, he's not. His points are secured. They are like absolutely solid, like written in stone. But if someone else like keeps winning and passes him, that's also possible. But like you don't lose points to keep playing. I don't think. I've got a Google Doc that's like calculating it all for me. I don't have to think about it. Like Turbo's points are like it's just like equal to a bunch of cells of like events he's won.
GOAT pyramid.
Yeah, it's all mathematics.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
I actually do agree with the point of the GOAT points type thing, like that sort of concept is like, yeah. But you're like Turbo's never gonna get any more, but like, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Just Garrett is like on the money. Everything he writes in chat, he's absolutely on the money tonight. Like he's killing the game.